Hello, chat. Good evening. Well, I hate it when it does that. Anyways, chat, good evening. Hope you are all doing well tonight. Welcome to the show. It is Thursday, so it is once again time for the Thursday show. And it's getting very interesting. A lot to talk about tonight. Hold on, chat. There we go. Sorry, I had to get the goal on there. But anyways, guys, welcome to the show. A lot to talk about. Not as many topics, but a lot of things in these topics we are going to have to get through and we are going to address tonight. So once again, welcome to the show, everybody. I am Sean, also most potentially criminal. I'm an attorney out in the Cleveland, Ohio area. Tonight we are talking about a lot of interesting things at this point here. So I mean, that's the only way to put it. There's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about tonight, and we are going to get right into these great things that we are doing. I read the stream as Rekieta Bodycam victory, not Rekieta's Bodycam victory. Now I'm sad. Yeah, well, we're going to get to the coping and seething because, guys, there will be coping and there will be sneezing and seething and pissing and shitting and all kinds of things we're going to have to do tonight. We are going to have to do all of that tonight. And you know what? It happens. It happens out there. So, some of you guys are so funny. You're like, wait, I thought that red is a good thing. Sorry. So, guys, if you guys are new, we are live tonight. We're back on we are live on Kick. We are live on Twitter. Yes, we are live on Twitter tonight, chat. Back on there. Because, hey, you know what? I needed to, after having a year of, somebody gifted me the year of premium gifted me a year of premium. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. And after having it, I'm like, I got to keep doing it. So it's nice to be able to edit your tweets, but also have a long one where if you want to type forever, you can type forever. It's so much better. So much better. So I'm back on there for that. And we are also here on YouTube, chat. We are here on YouTube getting it done, doing God's work. I'm on Kick. Well, I mean, we're trying Kick because Kick, unlike Rumble, automatically pops up, and there's like more people on Kick than there are on Rumble. So we'll try this Kick thing out for a while. If it doesn't work, maybe we'll go back to dealing with Rumble. I don't know. But, there's only a handful of people who use Rumble, so we'll try it. T79 says, hello, Nibbas. Yes, hello. The Ribbon Cap says you're gay if you pay Elon. Well, if that's what makes me gay, okay. Because as I say, there's other stuff I thought would qualify. Copium says, self-a-rumblers. Well, Rumble's great if you're getting paid. Or if you're like Jeremy, the quarter, and you just keep shilling it. And it's like, Rumble's not going to happen. So. Heavy Cake says, is YouTube N-word friendly? Yes, but I just, unless it's in a context, I just don't feel the need to say it. Krusty Kovenchik, are you ready for the Civil War, lawyer man? I guess. Hope I have a little more time to lose a little more weight. That'd be good. But yeah, you don't need to really be in shape to do drive-by shootings and, plant IEDs. So yeah. Yes. So Betty Q says, we love a groomed beard. Yes, thank you. Let's see here. I think I'll go over and be annoying in Kicks chat. Well, there you go. Perfect. Let's see here. So BobTube for 2 Australian dollary doodles. He says, N. I don't know why, but this tonight is brought to you by the letter N, chat. And then Spud Gun Luke says, "Oh shit." Yes. Oh shit. Here we go again. All right, guys. Talk is cheap. And we're burning daylight. I mean, well, sorry, burn daylight. By the way, we are going to finish up the Brendan Banfield trial after this because holy shit, the guy's getting torn apart. He just collapsed. Like, the guy basically just did, like, I don't see how this guy's not getting convicted. That was a really awful direct, and then he got crossed really hard by the prosecutors. So, yeah, I think he's done. I think he's done at this point. So, we'll be doing that right after this chat. We'll be doing right after this. And also, hold on, guys. 1 second. Need to do one thing here. Hold on. Excuse me. All right, guys. All right. All right, guys. So first of all, we have to state it. Total Baldo victory. Yes. Yeah, Nick Rekieta got dubs, chat. And if you were hoping he didn't get a dub with the body cam stuff, now's the time for you to cope and sneed and piss and shit and bitch and moan because we're gonna have to do it as a community. We're community cope. Collective cope. That's what we're doing tonight. Collective cope. And yeah, it's a total Baldo victory. And what are we talking about? Well, with the body cam, a couple different things have come out. And we'll start off with the case that actually involved Nick. And yes, this is the case of the state of Minnesota versus Nick Rekieta. So yes, Nick got a dub in his case here finally. And also, Nick finally won at the Court of fucking Appeal. Like, well, he didn't win, but the state of Minnesota won. But yes, Nick was on the side. Nick is actually happy with the Court of Appeals result for once. So, once again, I mean, hey, dubs are dubs where you find them. But yes, for the first time, the Court of Appeals has ruled in favor of Nick in a way that he's happy with. Oh, here we go. So, this is Matthew D. Harden, and this is, remember, guys, the glorious Matt Harden who's putting it to Wasogwea. And he is also, this is the Nick Rekieta case with the 19 grams of cocaine, not 26 grams of cocaine. So this is the appeal. Because remember, Matthew Harden tried to intervene. They tried to get into it. And what was this? So this is the order where Matthew Harden motion to intervene in a criminal proceeding involving Nick Rekieta. So they talk about the case here, the search of the home by law enforcement. Nick was charged with second-degree controlled substance stuff, blah, 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 blah. We know the whole story. Blah, 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 blah. You know, they talk about the motion to suppress evidence. Remember, like, I guess this is considering this was a big fat fucking L, take your wins where you get them, I guess. But they go on to talk about during this motion to suppress, remember, guys, with the watermarks, there was a memorandum of law filed by Nick's attorney that referenced the body-worn cameras, and those things were uploaded to the Minnesota Digital Exhibit System, and they were labeled as being used potentially as exhibits. And they say, at the August 2024 hearing, the district court noted that Rekieta was requesting a Franks evidentiary hearing. Yes, remember that, chat. The Franks hearing. Oh, buddy. So we move on through that. And then there were the issues about the body cams and where they were uploaded. He's like, we're going to get rid of these. And they were taken down. But they said neither the district court or the other parties made any further reference to the cameras. Instead, the discussion turned to which items in the digital evidence system were being used. And say the transcript of the hearing reflects the two body-worn cameras weren't offered during the hearing. And then in September, the district court issued the orders denying Nick's motion to dismiss. You guys remember those days. The order lists the items that were offered in evidence at the hearing. The body cams were not listed as having been offered or admitted, but the two cameras were mistakenly admitted after the hearing. And at that point, Harden requests the videos through a request form. The district court initially denied it. He initially granted it, provided you view them at the Candy, Ojai County Courthouse. Remember, we had Kay And then some other person went and viewed the body cams. They took notes, and those notes were read. And honestly, isn't it interesting? The notes pretty much reflected the police narratives. It also reflected the things from the Children's Services hearing when Children's Services came in and removed the Rekieta children from the house. We saw the one hearing where they talked about basically looking like a Haitian refugee camp, or actually maybe a Palestinian refugee camp, whichever one you prefer, but full of trash. And just, when we saw the one picture, just clothes everywhere, all that fun stuff. But after a while, on May 30th, the access was revoked because the prosecutor filed a motion to correct the court records. And then in a May 30th order, the district court noted that everybody agrees they're not to be shown. And yeah, they did it without anybody being involved. Hardin tried to intervene. And in a written order, the court granted the motion to intervene, but denied the request for access. In granting the motions, they talk about the right of intervention here. And they said that the rules contain no express provision for third-party interventions, but the district court went on to conclude that despite the lack of directly applicable authority, the court allows discretion for limited intervention solely to determine access rights. As long as it doesn't do anything. And they go on. And eventually they say, sorry, you're not seeing the cameras. So Hardin argues that he is not entitled, the district court erred when he is not entitled to access the cameras. Hardin saying, yes, I am. And let's see here. Goes on here. Both respondents also argue the district court properly concluded that Hardin does not have the right to access the body-worn camera videos. The VODs, chat. So remember, Nick and his attorney and this prosecutor, remember, the evil government, but hey, they're on my side now, so I guess they're going forward. They say whether intervention is available presents a legal question that we review de novo, meaning we review it in its entirety new, and we make our own determination. And they say that the Supreme Court has adopted procedural rules governing both criminal and civil cases, and that's true in almost. I don't think any state hasn't. I mean, every state has rules of civil procedure and criminal procedure. The rules of civil procedure allow for intervention under specified circumstances, but the Minnesota rules do not include any rule that allows for. Point out not allowed. I'm saying here that nor is there any binding case law recognizing the right to intervene in a criminal case, even for the limited purpose of seeking access to court records. Or said, put another way, there is no Minnesota court rule precedent allowing or providing intervention by a third party in a criminal proceeding to pursue a civil remedy, as Hardin requests here. The district court recognized it in its order, but allowed it for the purpose of determining access rights to the body-worn camera videos. Because there's no authority, we conclude the district court erred when it granted the motion to intervene. So it's saying we shouldn't have even gotten that far. Am I lagging or did I robot? Uh-oh. Sorry, guys. And they say our conclusions reinforced by the constitutional protections offered by the defendant in a criminal case. Yep. And they say both the Minnesota and federal constitutions protect the right to a speedy trial. They say allowing intervention in criminal cases to determine access to court records could disrupt or delay the proceedings. And they say that consideration strengthens our conclusion that there is no right for a third party to intervene in a criminal case in a Minnesota state court to seek access to court records. Yep, there you go. Say can't do it. And they point out that Matthew Hardin offers some authority from jurisdictions that have permitted it. And they decline to do it because, hey, it's non-binding. And courts have the right to do that. You could say it's persuasive, but it is non-binding. And that's how that goes. These are persuasive, but not precedential for you. And that you make the arguments. And they say, contrary to Hardin's suggestion, our conclusion does not leave Hardin without a vehicle to challenge the rights regarding that. And they point out that the rules governing public access provide a mechanism for that. And they say under Rule 7, you can request copies of judicial records that are accessible to the public. And they say that you can, if you're denied, you can appeal to the state court administrators who should make a determination. And they also can say that people could challenge things by petitioning for a writ. And they point out that some people petitioned the Minnesota Supreme Court for a writ of mandamus to release all closed documents in a criminal case. They talk about other cases where it's been mainly the Minnesota Star Tribune and other things that are going in there, Northwest Publications. That's where it's typically a press issue there. Ryan Moore says, "Looks like funny business to me." I mean, not really. This is not the most outlandish thing ever. So, oh well. Oh well. Let's say grid parties may use these processes to vindicate their rights without infringing on a defendant's constitutional right to a speedy trial through unnecessary delay of proceedings. Now, you might say, wait, Nix wasn't in that situation. You're right, but the court is speaking in generalities. They're not just opining on Nick's case. They're saying in a general term, we're not going to allow this. And they say, we therefore seek to conclude Hardin didn't have a right to intervene. And they say, even assuming he had a right to intervene, the district court properly denied access to the cameras. They say a recent order of the Minnesota Supreme Court provides exhibits uploaded and stored in MNDS, but not offered to the court, are not case records under the judicial branch, as defined in our rules of public access, are not publicly accessible. And they say here the record reflects that the cameras were never offered in evidence. As a result, Rekieta's counsel uploaded the cameras in question before the hearing, but his counsel decided to get rid of those exhibits and never offered them. Which, I mean, considering they're all excited, I still don't understand how that works. But hey, Minnesota wants to do it. But in the meantime, like I said, chat, we'll cope with the fact that we know everything and the allegations are true, because notice nobody's tried to correct the record by releasing portions. They say the clerical error marking these videos admitted does not make them publicly accessible. It is a fact that a document is offered to the court that converts such a file into a publicly accessible document. They say here the record is clear, no such offering or acceptance took place. They say because the videos were not offered into evidence, the order directs that the videos are not case records and not publicly accessible. Therefore, the court correctly concluded the videos are not court records and not accessible through a records request. Now, Hardin claims, well, they abused their discretion by not holding a hearing. But they point out because Hardin has no right to intervene, he has no right to a hearing. Well, there you go. And even if they should have been able to hold a hearing on that, it doesn't matter because you weren't entitled to a hearing. So they therefore discern no abuse of discretion. Therefore, the district court's order is affirmed. And yes, it is not this order opinion is non-precedential, except as law of the case, res judicata, or collateral estoppel. So signed by the court, and there you go. Now, what does that also tell you at the end of the day? There's another case that's currently pending, and this tips your hand to what the Minnesota Court of Appeals is going to do here. And I don't know if Hardin or Bromke have figured out a plan what they're doing here. But there is another total Baldo victory today. And once again, you know, Nick's actually winning some cases at the trial court level, winning some motions here for his benefit. It's like, once again, you know, get the wins where you can find them. And this is the case where Matthew Hardin himself is the plaintiff, and he is suing Eric Tollefson, who is the Kaneohe County Sheriff, the record supervisor. I remember speaking to this Carol lady back when the case first started. She was super nice, super nice. Kelsey Baker, in her official capacity, is the Kaneohe County Administrator. So what is this? The order on the motion to partially dismiss the complaint. So what happened? There was a hearing held remotely where the county filed a motion to dismiss the complaint. Matthew Hardin appeared and was represented by Oliver Bromke. The defendants were represented by attorney Diane Ebert. Let's say, based on the evidence concluded, here's what happens. The motion to partially dismiss is granted. The plaintiff's claims related to the body camera footage are dismissed with prejudice. I mean, they're done. They're done, chat. They are done. The attached memorandum is here, and the matter shall be reassigned for further proceedings. So let's talk about the Soros legal squad laying in a runway. Oh yeah, no, that's something we'll get to. We'll get to that. That is hilarious. So, guys, TLDR, it's pretty much over. Like the idea, like, oh, we can go on these other courts. Well, if you appeal from here to the Minnesota Court of Appeals, we just read in this one, they're going to say it's not accessible, and they're going to say they're not entitled to things. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So this one here, they talk about, Hardin filed a summons and complaint seeking certain information to be disclosed. The defendants filed the motion to dismiss on the disclosure of the body cam footage. Blah, 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 blah. We're here now to this point. And it's whether to dismiss the claims related to disclosure of the body cam footage, the contested issue. And they say the background here, the plaintiff is an adult in domiciliary of Florida, licensed as an attorney in Minnesota and elsewhere. I didn't know Matthew Hardin is a Florida. He's from Virginia, I thought. So why is he Florida, man? I didn't know he's domiciled in Florida, but that just a little weird there. But hey, okay, whatever. So anyways, Matthew Hardin submitted a seeking copy of all records in their custody in whatever format, paper, electronic, or otherwise, pertaining to Nick Rekieta, April M. Holte, and Kayla Rekieta. I think it's funny that they have... This is a little funny here. Even the fates, they're like, well, we're going to put April in between Nick and Kayla. You're like... we're just gonna have her interfere. Like, we're just gonna do this, and we're gonna be like, we're gonna put up a wall, and April's gonna be in the middle of that, and it's like we're just gonna go like this, boop. Even the court's like, it's funny. It's funny. Life is funny like that, chat. Sometimes life is funny and weird, don't you think? Don't you think? And remember, guys, we're still coping. We're still sneezing, but hey, you get what you can out of the life. Let's say the next day, plaintiff submitted another request seeking particular body camera footage depicting the execution of a search warrant at the residence of Nick Rekieta on May 23rd, 2024. And any arrests or interviews of Nick Rekieta, Kayla Rekieta, or April M. Holt. And it says, despite multiple lines of correspondence from Mr. Hart and his counsel, defendants have released only a very few records while denying access to others implicitly or explicitly. Defendants have also shifted their explanations for withholding records. Isn't that interesting? Making it difficult doing that. And that's kind of what they did. Yeah. And notice, guys, the chat is citing the complaint, and remember how you do the complaint and a motion to dismiss. The light most favorable to the non-moving party, meaning we will treat all their allegations as true on this. They say, on May 2nd, 2025, plaintiff again wrote to defendants, attaching an order from the Kaneohe County, that's KC District Court, which the court recognized the body camera footage was public data on individuals under the Minnesota Data Practices Act and was available. The county attorney filed a motion to alter the court's records in the Rekieta criminal case so that certain exhibits would be not designated as received. And remember, that is kind of touching back on the other case. This motion was filed with the intent to strike certain exhibits from the record, make them inaccessible. The attorney did this without notifying plaintiff or his counsel, without giving the opportunity to be heard, and with an effort to frustrate the access to the records. And they say on May 30th, unaware of the full circumstances behind the motion, without any hearing, the court entered an order which purported to correct its records, indicates certain evidence was not received through the MNDES system. And on that basis, revoked all previously allowed public access after the two interested parties had viewed the footage at the courthouse and a third had scheduled a viewing. Yep. This error was provoked by the county attorney who acted on behalf of all defendants to frustrate the rights under the Data Practices Act. And they say, upon receiving the order, the attorney sent a letter to plaintiff denying his request in full. Not only was the order correcting the records obtained by collusive efforts and a nominal defendant seeking the same outcome without providing notice, they say, but the order was in excess of the court's jurisdiction. So they talk about that. All right. And we go on here. They point out that this is the ultimate that memo from Judge Wenzel, where we can't redact everything, but you could be viewed here at the courthouse. And that's where Kay and the other party did their notes, gave them to null, and those notes pretty much reflect everything at this point. Well, Sweet Bovine, we're going to get to this, but the appellate court's not going to back you up. The appellate court in the other case explained they're not going to allow it either. So it is what it is. Now, they said here, they talk about the criminal case, and they talk about the omnibus hearing, where apparently everybody in the omnibus hearing were all fucking retards. And, oh, we meant to do it and not do it, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. They talk about the court did not rely on the footage in deciding the omnibus issues, and the MND was amended to mark the two cameras as not accepted. That said, then Bromke filed a motion to intervene. And remember, we're talking about now these cases kind of blend together as far as what's going on. Wenzel issued an order following the motion to intervene, which considered the request, but denied it and rescinded the May 1st order. And they say a memorandum by Wenzel explained he concluded the camera is not public judicial record because it was never offered or admitted in evidence. Its mistaken designation did not convert it into a public record. There you go. They say on June 20th, plaintiff filed a notice of appeal, and that's where they go on the other thing there. And they say the basis for the last request and denial then. So what happened? In May 2025, they then requested it from the sheriff's office and the county attorney. And they say because if confidential, protected, non-public, active criminal investigative data are presented as evidence in court, the data shall be public. The plaintiff's letter cited an advisory opinion from the Commissioner of Administration. Remember, that is the state-level person who said, yes, it should be released, which stated body camera data maintained by a law enforcement agency and presented as evidence in court are classified as public data. In response, the county attorney denied the request on the basis it wasn't accepted in evidence in court. And they sought the relief. Well, the relief is we want the fucking data. We need that body cam. We really, really do. We need the camera. We really, really need it. Shot is paid by the word. So, yes. Yes. Mama K. Oh, it's a tiki bar, man. Okay, I didn't know. I forgot who the other one was. I know it was Mama K, though. And then we move on. Oh, God, I'm pulling a filler. Hold on. So they talk about neither count 2 or 3 nor the prayer for relief otherwise mentioned in the body camera footage. So they're seeking a motion to dismiss under Rule 12.2e, and that's dismissal for failure to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. That's, guys, we know that as 12b-6. For those of you, in under the federal rules and a lot of state rules, it's 12b-6. Motion is, you fail to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. So to resolve this question, they talk about, does the complaint set forth a legally sufficient claim? So they go through all of this here, and they say, and they talk about the standards here. We're not doing that. They say a pleading will only be dismissed if it's certainty that no facts which could be introduced consistent with the pleading exists which would support granting the relief demanded. They say they review the complaint as a whole, including documents and oral statements referenced in the complaint to determine whether it's been stated here. You can take judicial notice of adjudicated findings in a prior proceeding. And they say, we accept allegations the complaint is true. It construe all inferences in favor of the plaintiff. Remember, you treat everything in the complaint as true, and then is it still work? It's immaterial whether or not a plaintiff can prove the facts alleged, because normally you can't at the beginning anyway. So they say the defendants are entitled to dismissal of the body cam footage claims. They say, namely, Wenzel, they talk about here, and they say that they seek partial dismissal because it is an impermissible collateral attack on the decisions. And they say Judge Wenzel's orders determine the body cam footage was never presented as evidence. they said the plaintiff argued there are material facts in dispute which the court cannot resolve on a motion to dismiss. And now some of you might say, what is a collateral attack? Well, here, the court does a great job of explaining. A collateral attack is an attack on a judgment in a proceeding other than a direct appeal. And the direct appeal is like your appeal in the original case. And they say, where a direct attack on a judgment attempts to annul, amend, reverse, or vacate a judgment or to declare it void in an appropriate proceeding, an impermissible collateral attack similarly attacks the validity of judgments, but the attack is purely secondary or incidental. And guys, collateral attack is an actual term. You will see that frequently in appellate law, that there's claims these are collateral attacks. And they say public policy favors finality of judgments and the ability of parties to rely on court orders. And that is a thing. It's the same reason why you can't withdraw your appeal after you've been sentenced generally. We need finality. We have to be able to rely on things. If you can plea out and then 50 years later come back and mess with it, well, the system is not going to be stable. The courts need finality. And they say, thus, Minnesota law does not permit a collateral attack on a judgment valid on its face. And they say a judgment alleged merely to be erroneous or founded upon irregularities in the proceedings, not going to the jurisdiction of the court, is not subject to an attack. Now, here's the point they're saying here, that even if there are irregularities in the proceedings, unless it's about jurisdiction of the court. Remember, if the court never had jurisdiction, that's actually a big issue. Like, we have to address that. But if the court did anything weird and it's gone and it's done, that's it. That's it. And they say plaintiff first argue, so I'm here. They say plaintiffs also sought the same relief on the basis the body camera footage constitutes data on individuals or non-public data. The court does not reach that argument since defendant's argument regarding impermissible collateral attack is dispositive, meaning we don't have to get to that one. We don't have to address it. And they argue that the final May 1st order, which was not vacated, held the body camera footage were omnibus exhibits, which it said it did. The plaintiff also argued the May order concluded the body cam footage and are omnibus exhibits, and defendant's citations to the May 30th order that the footage was not accepted create a genuine issue of material fact, which cannot be resolved through this motion. The plaintiff's arguments are unavailing, meaning not working, because the plaintiff is incorrect. The order following the motion to intervene specifically resented the order filed on May 1st. And you know what? Yeah, the court's going to argue, nope, they override each other. The courts can issue orders and then rescind those orders or countermand that order. Courts have that authority. So, yes. It's weird. It's still done. Yes. Say the plaintiff next argues res judicata does not require immediate dismissal. But it, does not require immediate dismissal related to cam footage. And they claim the Minnesota Supreme Court has cautioned against such rush dismissals. And, they say that presents the awkward possibility a judgment is given res judicata effect in a second action may later be reversed on appeal. And they point out, though, but defendants are not arguing that res judicata should apply to bar plaintiffs' claims related to the body camera footage. And even if it's applied, they're claiming that these guys misstated Brown Wilbert versus Copeland, Buell and Company. And they say that we reaffirm that for res judicata purposes, a judgment becomes final when it is entered and the district court remains final despite a pending appeal until it is reversed, vacated, or otherwise modified. And that's true. So what does that mean, actually? They're saying, well, the court order is final until something changes that. So, for example, if you're convicted and you're sent to prison, you appeal. Unless the Court of Appeals says you get appeal bond, you sit in prison until your appeal's done. And if they reverse it, vacate it, or otherwise modify it, it's final. Same thing for civil cases. Unless the court enters a stay of things, it's final until the appeal is done. And then if the appeal overturns a lower court, great. But until then, the appeal, that order is still in effect, absent that doing it. That's not uncommon. And it makes sense. Makes sense. hold on here. And they said the Supreme Court then explained the one authority suggested how to avoid the awkward possibility referenced earlier. And they said delaying further proceedings in a second action pending conclusion of the appeal in the first action by a protective appeal in the second action that is held open pending determination of the first appeal, or by direct action to vacate the second judgment. They point out that not only did the Minnesota Supreme Court not caution against dismissal or advise of that awkward possibility, but it in fact articulated the other options which plaintiff ignores. So they're saying, no problems here. So are we getting the Bodycam? Are we going to get the body cam when Baldo violates a sentence? No, we're probably not going to get it. We're not going to get it unless April leaks it or Kayla leaks it, or maybe Nick decides to leak it at some point or give it up. Otherwise, we're never going to see it at this point. So, oh well. Oh well, that's a TLDR. They point out that even though the body camera wasn't presented to the court, which is sufficient and not synonymous with evidence that is received or admitted to the court. And they say this is already considered by Wenzel's ruling on June 16th. And they say that in, the following order motion to intervene, that order is subject of a pending appeal by plaintiff. Meaning, remember, they're referencing the other case we just covered. And they say Judge Wenzel's orders determine body cam footage exhibits were never received as evidence. Therefore, and precedent cited above indicates his decision is final despite the pending appeal. So once again, that is also final. Remember, Judge Wenzel's decision is final till the Court of Appeals overturns it. And they never did. So guess what? It's still final. Which means now you're here trying to overturn the final ruling. And they're saying, we're not going to allow that. We're not allowing that. That is a collateral attack here. They say if it were not applied thusly, this court would in effect allow Hardin in his civil action to ignore Wenzel's decision by granting Hardin access to body camera footage on a basis that would contradict Wenzel's decision. And they put out, while Wenzel's orders only had the effect of denying plaintiff the camera footage, Wenzel's decision is likewise determinative of the access to the same from the sheriff's department, who is the original custodian of that evidence. Because remember, the sheriff's office raided, they're the ones who had the body cams, they retained that footage originally. And they point out here once again whether the exhibits were received as evidence was the basis of the last request. And they say in sum, both parties have made Wenzel's earlier decisions central to the civil action because they maintain opposing stances. And they say the decisions regarding the body camera footage are determinative of the access to body camera footage through the civil action, and his ruling should be accorded the finality and the ability of parties to rely on it, in which public policy favors. So they're making a public policy argument. Remember, the public has to rely on it as a whole that court cases are going to be final. Patty says, how do these body camera channels get them? Because most states have open and transparent things. That's why a lot of body cam footage is out of like Ohio, Wisconsin, or Florida. We actually have transparent government. Minnesota has a bunch of fucked up gay laws that protect all that data. In the aftermath of George Floyd, that stuff got passed. So, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. Which sucks, but it is what it is. Remember, Minnesota is a gay state. It's a state full of gay communists. Because that's who runs the state. It's a state run by a bunch of gay communists. So. Which, once again, chat, cope and sneed we are doing. They say that, you merely can't allege the decision was wrong or founded upon irregularities. So notice, courts using that language cited above. And the appeals on the plaintiff's appeal of Wenzel's decision constitutes a proper attack to attempt to annul, amend, reverse, or vacate the judgment or declare it void. So they're saying what he did was the proper way to do it. But the Court of Appeals over there said, no, you're not entitled to it. And no, you shouldn't have been allowed to do this anyway. So this court here says, you already tried. I'm not going to help you. I can't help you. You can't spell Minnesota without gay. Yeah. And they say this is a narrow ruling that only impacts the body camera footage at issue. The claim in all other respects may proceed accordingly. So everything but the body cam, chat. So if there are other reports and anything else, we are entitled to those, but that's it. So the motion to partial dismissal is granted, but only as it relates to body cam footage. So everything else is out there. So every other thing but the body cam, which is, like, yay, more police reports. So there's nothing here, guys. It's dead. The Court of Appeals is not going to go any further with this. Why? Because we already saw what they're going to do here. It didn't matter. You're not allowed to have them. Like, they've already stated it. So the Court of Appeals has already stated this. And what do you do from here? Can you appeal up to your Minnesota State Supreme Court? No. I mean, you could try, but it's not a court of, you're not entitled to that appeal. It's all discretionary at your state Supreme Court level. And that's a thing a lot of you, I don't think, realize. Going, your direct appeal, great. But an appeal to your state's high court, you generally don't get those as a matter of right. You're not entitled to them. So what does that mean? For example, here in Ohio, if you want the Ohio Supreme Court to take your case, first it's like the United States Supreme Court. You have to get certiorari. And it's really fucking hard to get. I'd argue it's almost even harder than the United States Supreme Court because the amount of people who appeal stuff up to the state Supreme Court is a lot. And they deny all kinds of things being heard. So, no, they're not going to get heard. The Minnesota Supreme Court's not going to overturn it. Suffer, chat. Suffer, Fat Man. Suffer, Josh Moon. Suffer, Kiwi Farms. Suffer, Matthew Harden. Suffer, Oliver Bromke. We all have to suffer. So there you go. There you go. Nothing we can do about it. Nothing we can do about it, guys. Oh, well. Oh, well. Shove it your VCR says, given the state of the house, those pictures that came out, the body cam's not needed. Suffolk in a casino. Yeah, but honestly, at the end of the times, that's a cope. It's a cope. Yes, we've heard all the accounts. The accounts all corroborate each other, and most importantly, if they didn't, and it was clearly, his house looked like Better Homes and Gardens, we would have seen it already. But the fact we haven't tells you a lot. The fact we haven't seen anything tells you a lot. Something to think about, Chet. Something to think about. Just started Cam to bribe April for the body. Yeah, funny. The body cam footage was promised to us 3,000 years ago. Thank you, Torvik. Yeah. Once again, guys, we'll survive. Cyanide Cologne says sometimes even Harden is a Greer. Well, unlike Greer, Harden's actually filing these in good faith. And no, they're not going to get attorney's fee. Nobody's recovering attorney's fees. Just like nobody's getting attorney's fees out of the HROs. Nobody's recovering attorney's fees there. I mean, that let's not delude ourselves. That's not happening either. So, yeah, the EWU channel did too, and they got shot down as well. And it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere, guys. We have what the Court of Appeals has told us what they're going to do. We know it's not going to change. So there are 3 people out there who have access to it who could release it. So that's kind of where you are. 3 people have it at this point. Yes, and unlike Greer, hard to kill his mouth. Oh, Cope sip. This is a Cope sip. That's a Cope sip. But yes, it's a Cope sip. Oh. The Mean Gene says, what's crazy? We might get the 2020 Fulton County records before the Rekieta body cam. Okay, I saw that. There's literally nothing that's going to happen out of that. And even if it did, let's say something like, just humor me here, Gene. I'm not trying to break your balls. Even if that happens, what are we going to do about it? I mean, unless then like the next step is Trump calls up the guys at Fort Bragg and gets like, all the Saber squadrons operating on a fucking like moon, like a, overnight op to start greenlighting people. Like, we're not going to get anywhere. So I'm just saying, like, like we're going to do a night of a JSOC night raid across America, taking out the deep state. Like there's not a whole lot that's going to matter here. So just telling you. Gene says you're good, man. I know, but it's like, a man can dream. We can all dream about it happening. A squadron going around dropping people, like the ISA running intel ops to go get people as well. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Black pillars belong on the wall. Yeah, well, it is. Barron invented the time machine. I hope so. Oh. Cope Sip is what nicked into Aaron. Yeah, but still though, guys, Cope, once again, total Baldo victory. So let's move on from there. Moving on from there. Let's get into some more well, holy shit, Minnesota. Minnesota has been disintegrating, chat. It has been disintegrating. If you weren't aware, the brave, unemployed, schizophrenic nurse, yeah. Well. Oh. Well, we're going to get into that here. And we start with the shooting of Alex Preddy, which, once again, chat, you can go to a protest armed. You can protest armed. But if you decide to mix it up with the cops while you're armed, you're going to have a bad time. You're going to have a bad time. As I showed earlier, I forget who put this up, but the Venn diagram does not lie. Don't, like, when you are armed and you start fucking around with the police, really bad things can occur. And one of those really bad things is this type of outcome right here, where honestly, they start arresting you and yeah, which I think, having watched this a little bit more, and I think, and this is what I'll tell you from, as somebody who carries concealment myself, if you notice, his gun is right here at about the 4 o'clock position. I'm not right-handed. I carry kind of more like at the 7 o'clock position myself, like 7:30-ish. I've thought about trying to do appendix carry, and I think I'll be safe because, I got a big fucking gun, so I can't shoot myself in the pecker. His gun's right here. And if you guys have all ever concealed carry, you've gotten really good at being able to do that every once in a while, especially when you're kind of starting out. You kind of check, make sure it's there. That's actually a tell for police when they're looking for people legally carrying a handgun, because generally criminals who carry handguns don't have holsters. And because of that, guns can move around. They're not secure. So they'll check it every once in a while. Well, or for example, if you're carrying and you fall down and you're, tussling around, you're probably going to reach for it. And guess what? I'm thinking he swept his hand back at that point, and everybody's scrumming for a gun. They see a flash of a gun, and I think he kind of was reaching back. It looks like a little bit. It looks like he reached back a little bit, and you know what? This is why you don't bring your fucking sticks to the party unless you're gonna fucking play the drums. At this point. Moment trace, I'm left-handed. Yeah. Yes. But I think that's kind of what happened here, if I'm guessing. He started fucking around with it. And that's why you don't fucking do it. That's why you don't fucking do it. Now, you can do it. You have the right to do it. But as an attorney, my job is to sit here and tell you, hey, man, you want to do X. Here's a bad thing that's likely going to happen if everything falls apart. That's merely just the truth of it. If you do this, this is a likely outcome. If you wear a suit made out of bacon in the woods filled with grizzly bears, they might eat you and kill you. That doesn't mean you can't do it. I'm just telling you the lay of the land. Just telling you the lay of the land. And I will say the amount of people who got pissed off about that and somehow I'm anti-Second Amendment or whatever. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, you're crying to me about like how unfair it is, and and all I did was tell you, here's the law, like here's how the world works. Like, I'm just telling you how the world works. If the cops see a gun on you, they can get really fucking retarded really quick. Philando Castile, they talk about that one, but this is one of the videos I first did on this channel. Amir Locke. Amir Locke was a guy in Minnesota too who got fucked over by a bunch of police who snuck into the house he was sleeping in and shot him. Anytime the cops see you with a gun, the chance of them getting all retarded goes through the roof. The odds of it are really high. So I wouldn't do it. It's really fucking dumb. It's really fucking dumb. So that is yeah, there's legality and there's reality. Right or wrong, he's dead. I know, and that's kind of what happens here. Yeah, and Karate Cat Mom, yes, that's what somebody asked me on Twitter. They're like, well, if there were ATF agents out there and they shoved this lady to the ground, would you be interfering? Well, if I was armed, no. I wouldn't. Because the other thing I think people need to consider too is remember, how do the police handle these situations? They have the people going up on the riot shields to play reindeer games. Then they have people behind them with non-lethal. And then behind them are guys with real guns and lethal force. You break out your groups. You don't have your lethal force carriers running in and playing fucking tackle football. They stay off to the side and play Overwatch. That's how you handle it. It's how it should have been properly done. But in the meantime, we've seen that Alex Brady is, well, he's a bit of a tard out there, chat. This
who
is
appears
him
to be
as
Alex
well.
Preddy interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was
This
analyzed
is Alex
by
Brady
the BBC,
also acting like
whose
this
facial
once again. Don't act like a tard.
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Preddy interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of
he's wearing similar clothes, and
accuracy.
You could see, keep note of this area on him, chat. Oh, I think something's gonna happen.
On the morning of January 13th, our team received a gap in.
We're gonna skip ahead here to where he actually gets
tail light. An agent then driving away, the man kicked their tail light. An agent then got out of the vehicle, grabbed him, and pushed him to the ground.
Yeah, his name was Buck, and he thought he wanted to fuck. Notice, what did you just see right there, guys? What did you just see right there? What do you see riding up? If you carry, you notice this right away. You see right away. Yep, there's also a reach. But notice, these guys standing here don't see it because he's printing. It's still concealed, and they're not necessarily looking that observantly.
During the altercation, agents fired tear gas and pepper balls into the crowd. They continued to hold the man down before they retreat, and he walks away. The man in our footage is wearing a similar outfit to what Preddy was wearing on the day he was killed. What appears to be a gun.
There you go. He's got his gun out. Now notice it rode up, the shirt rode up over it. Who knows when they saw it? It doesn't look like the cops saw it right away. Because if you're in the scrum with all those cops, there's no fucking way they would have just let it go like no big deal and kicked him out again. They clearly, like, you could tell he has a gun now. I don't think they saw it earlier. Now, there are all the issues of would this be applicable at a trial or anything like that? No, this wouldn't be, because you'd have to show any of these guys were the same people at the next stop, and they're clearly not, because these guys are wearing these look like Border Patrol dudes. Like straight up Border Patrol guys. I don't think they were. They're actually in uniform, so I don't think it would matter at that point. Yeah, and this is the big thing that, you know, a lot of people don't understand. Don't get into physical confrontations while you're armed. It's a fucking retard's game. He should be standing off to the side while his friends play reindeer games, not him.
Is also visible above his waistband.
So don't do retarded shit, and your odds of dying basically like kind of fall through the floor. Fall through the floor. So that is yeah, they're also wearing gas masks, which make it really, it's not easy to see. It's not easy to see out of those. Was he employed at this time? This was a week prior. No, it sounds like he quit his job and he's a fucking loon. And people, I don't know. Who knows? He's probably a loon. But yeah, don't get in altercations while you're armed. It's just basic shit. It's kind of like what Pat McNamara says, basic dude stuff. Don't start fighting people while you're armed. Basic dude stuff. Basic dude stuff. But there are other things that have happened. He's still dead, and it's like, well, that's what you get. From here, we do have interesting things that have happened. First of all, Ilhan Omar. Well, actually, no. We'll get to what's actually the first thing we want to show. Trump has not actually left Minnesota. The ICE agents are still there. And we're finding out that he was an ICU nurse, but he wasn't lately. Yeah, it sounds like he hasn't been working for a while. So what happened here? Well, yeah, there's apparently been a drawdown because you know who's finally helping? Local police. The local police are finally helping. They're finally getting involved. So as I said earlier, Tim Walz bent the knee. He bent the knee. The local police and the Minnesota State Police are now getting involved. This is as of last night, cracking up Antifa, who are still protesting because clearly they realized they didn't win. And look at him getting bum rushed by local police. And yes, guys, these are mainly the suburban police, but still, the suburbs are not taking this shit from the commies.
Let them in! Let them in! Let them in!
Although I think these are Minneapolis police right here. Also, chat, don't pick up tear gas grenades. I know some people try to do that in these videos. Tear gas, the boiling point for tear gas is like 590, 600 degrees. So don't grab them because they're burning 600 fucking degrees. They'll burn your fingertips off. Don't pick them up. Also, don't grab flashbangs as well, Steven. Yes. Flashbangs are bombs. Do not pick up bombs.
Okay, everyone start backing up. Back up. Back up. Everyone, camera or not, back up.
So, I know. Look, some of the local police are wearing masks. Oh no, I thought that was only the evil Gestapo Nazis. Also, free Palestine. Yeah, like these people just kit bash all their shit together.
Did not say anything! Ask for a lawyer!
All individuals,
Did not say anything!
you are under arrest.
Ask for a lawyer!
Please sit.
That is correct. Also, honey, that is, once again, chat, as we talked about, that is not what you use for a gas mask. That is not how that works. That will not help you for shit. Once again, you gotta use the good stuff. This is what will protect you, not what she's wearing. Not what she's wearing. You will have a bad day. Don't do it like this guy either. That's not really gonna help you.
Down.
Did not say anything! Ask for a lawyer!
Don't say anything to the police.
Also, chat, these guys in yellow like this are state police and state law enforcement officers. So do it the right way.
Talk to a lawyer first! Say nothing! Say
I don't know why she's still wearing it right now. That's really retarded, but she is. So anyway, the commies are facing problems now that the local governments are being forced to fight them, and they're now turning on local government. So couldn't happen to nicer people. Couldn't happen to nicer people. Are the fish police back? Yes, some of them are fish police. So yeah, you have that. It's for particulate, not chemicals. Correct. Those are meant for like if you're sanding things down, you don't get dust in your lungs. It's not for tear gas. Also, it doesn't matter if you cover your face, your nose, and your mouth against tear gas if your eyes are now exposed. It doesn't really do a whole lot for you. Doesn't do a whole lot there. Let's see here. Shinobubu says, it do be like that, Mr. Martin. Yes. It do be like that, Mr. Sean. It do be like that, Mr. Moon. Once again, we shall suffer. And Gooner says, lol, Kiwi Farms is so felted. I don't see the Rekieta news on the front page. Well, it should have been. It's still an L, and it should be dealt with. Debbie O for $5 says, did you see Mark Rendez's call for amnesty and citizenship for illegal entrepreneurs? No, and fuck all that. Every time there's any sort of immigration compromise or any of that crap we've heard before, yeah, oh, we're going to secure the border too. No, secure the border first. We're doing that now, then we'll settle that later. But no, I don't care who you are. If you're illegal, you got to go. Simple math. Simple way to do it. Thank you, Debbie. Let's see. David from Making Law Simple says stupid rules. Yeah, I know. Fucking rules. Jefferson Post has been a member 17 months. Says maybe the body cam will be the locals' gift. I don't know. I mean, yeah, because that hasn't been fulfilled yet, but maybe one day it'll get fulfilled, chat. Maybe one day it will get fulfilled. Hardblock says, this guy is so boring. If you're referring to Nick, yes. If you're referring to me, also, yes. Keopeth is Nick's winning without being the council, yes. And then Elite Gaming, yes, this is going to be something we're going to touch on now. Up in Maine, there was a plane crash. And there were a couple of attorneys on the airplane, and they were some of the major the Houston law firm of Arnold and Itkin, who's been doing a lot of work for the immigration cases that are out there. Basically, were some of the basically some of the people doing hatchet work for George Soros, and yeah, they crashed and burned on the runway there. So it's like, yeah. So, oh well, oh no, it's a good thing. What do you call a bunch of the lawyers burning in a Learjet? A good start. Yes, I resemble that remark. Radcon Hazard says, to celebrate total Baldo victory, Stoney's is having $3 cans and Ice Twister. Yes, Ice Twister. If you get it wrong, they pepper spray you in the ball sack. All right, chat. Speaking of that tonight, we got our sponsors for the night. First of all, the dragonstreasure.com, a haven for teen and anime lovers. Use the code criminal. Once again, chat, don't use the code cope. Who would happily, I'm going to save money by coping. Why would you do that? Why would you cope? Don't. Promo code criminal, 10% off your coffees, teas, and soaps. Support the tea, man. Buy his tea. Chat, we got our other sponsors tonight. MAF Corporation. That's right, chat. MAF-arms.com. Ivan, he has said, once again, the order's over $500. He will send you lewds tucked in with your invoice. And then Matt, like he said, he'll put on some lipstick and put a big old kiss on your invoice. Orders of $500 or more. Get the wind chimes, chat. It's almost February. End of the week. We're at February, guys. Groundhog Day, Valentine's Day. Before you know it, bam, St. Patrick's Day. And it's spring. Get your wind chimes. Get them ready. Get them ready. Also, I need to talk to Matt about getting him on for, see if there's any updates on Tata Damiak, Matt Hoover's appeal, and then also just updates on his lawsuit with Cody the Chode Muncher Wilson. See how that's going. Then, chat, finally, last but not least, Stoney's Bar at 158 East Broadway Street in Rockville, Minnesota, chat. Stoney's is your place to go. I understand, chat, it's icy and cold out there, and you don't want to slip and slide when you are dealing with your hog, but it is a thing. It is a thing you can do, and it's a thing you could do and thing you can enjoy out there at Stoney's. Why is there, hold on here, chat. Why is this not working? Oh, okay. Well, I can't get the page to load. But yeah, Stoney's, guys, your place to go every weekend. And yeah, they'll do ice-inspired Twister out on the patio. If you're wrong, you get pepper spray on your balls, and some masked men will tackle you to the ground and break your ribs. So Ice Twister is a new derivation there. That's my idea, Aaron. You don't get to take it. You don't get to take it. That's my idea. You can't capitalize on that. Yes, home of the $2.50 cans. Still and always, chat. Still and always. Stoney's, chat. Serving Minnesota for 30 years now. The best sponsors, chat. The best sponsors. How far are those guys from Stoney's? Not too far away. Not too far away. Yes, Ice Agents are welcome at Stoney's. Probably. I bet Cheeto likes the Ice Agents. I bet they like the Ice Agents. Oh, let's see here. Hold on here. Eric, I'll answer that question in a minute. I'm not sure what you're saying. J-Rock is saying it's a chaotic endeavor at this point, Jersh. Yeah, it is, but you know what? If they want to go for it, by all means, it is the reality of what it is. It is the forlorn hope. Erica Thorpe 499 says, for the goal. Yes, Chad. If we meet the goal is, Tom Homan will deport the entire state of Minnesota and start anew. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Jefferson Post says the Zilluminati paid them off with bananas and rice once again. But the witness testimony, the body cams is public record now. Suffer Baldo. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's still us suffering because we didn't get to see it. We didn't get to see it. So. Anonymous says, unfortunately, you're right about Minnesota. My family has advocated for breadlines before. You guys remember, the party that controls Minnesota is the Democratic Farmer Labor Party, chat. Yes, the farmer with the sickle and the labor with the hammer. You're like, yeah, maybe I've heard that before. Yeah, you have. Minnesota is just rife with commies. They've always been. PH Joy says, can you find the clip of the woman who live streamed for the Minnesota Capitol building who found a plaque from Satanists honoring Tim Walz? No, I've never heard about that, but wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. Jefferson Post says, I called the cops at my house for a B&E and then calmly it safely assisted them in disarming me. It's not that fucking hard, even in Massachusetts. Yeah, but still, it's you gotta be careful. It's the amount of people who have been killed by cops because they see a gun is absolutely ridiculous out there. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. So, Radcon Hazard for $5 says, always ask the experts. You're PCSing to Connecticut. Always. You go to Groton or something. I'm always gonna be making calls to gun shops and local PDs about their gun laws and exceptions to see what I can't bring. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot, and wouldn't be a bad idea to talk to an attorney in the area, or if you're PCSing, you can, I don't know if the legal there can help you with that at all or not. So, good luck though. Good luck. Although sucks you're going to Connecticut. KWM or KMW has been a member for 18 months. Could those loud whistles be considered assault? No. I mean, yeah, kind of, maybe technically, but no. And honestly, the amount of people, I don't know how people are doing this on either side. Because it's tar jousting when you're doing that. Those people are going to have massive hearing loss on both sides. I don't understand when people go out there. There aren't people with shop earmuffs or just electronic noise canceling earmuffs and just going boop. There's no way in hell I'd be doing all that without ear protection on. It's so stupid. I don't get it. But thank you for being here for 18 months. Thank you. Okay. Where is... They're earless. Oh, our favorite Turk Hassan got banned on Twitch for his Preddy comments. What did he say? I don't know, but Suffa. Suffa, Turk Roach. Suffa. Uncivil Law, Kurt, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing well out there, guys. Kurt and Uncivil Law, give him a look. If you haven't seen him before, definitely won't be disappointed. I'm sure Hassan's only going to be banned for a day. Or Hassan's bans coincide with his vacation. So, yeah, he gets banned today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm sure he's going to be back Monday. That's how they do it. Oh. He called the chat Zionist pigs. Well, oh no. That's really what gets you fucked? That's really what gets you fucked on there? Wow. You're Zionist pigs, chat. Oh. Kurt says, what happened with the Coke former lawyer now? He basically, all the body cam stuff did not turn out in our favor. It turned out in his favor. So, yeah, like I said, we cope. Yes, it's like the short pocket monsters guy. You know, the big fucking pull, a Rekieta dub. It's like legal dub. It's like, whoa. Man, that's going to get graded by TCG. Actually, Beckett's going to have to grade that fucker. Slab that bitch up. Slab that bitch up. TikTok recently just integrated using the word Zionist as a hate crime. Wow. Wow. So, I will last one day on Twitch. I don't think I get very far on Twitch. So, that's it there. All right, guys, moving on to some other Minnesota stuff. I don't think I have to say this, but don't attack congressmen. I mean, like, if you're going to do it. Like, I'm not going to Fed post. But I'm just like, if you're going to do it, stick the fucking landing. But anyways, here you go. This is Ilhan Omar.
Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment. I don't know.
No, I mean, there's a lot of things that make this sus. The fact she didn't like immediately call like poison control. She immediately didn't like go get washed off because God knows what kind of caustic substance is on her. You got to get rid of that real quick because you don't know what it is. It could be, all kinds of stuff. But yes, why was vinegar used? Because it was fake. It's faked. This seems so fucking sketchy. And notice and we're gonna get to this now. The guy who did that.
Oh my God, he's spraying something on her. I need a napkin to know nothing.
You notice she's like,
no, we will continue. No.
Oh, we're gonna keep going. No, you fucking wouldn't. How do you know that isn't something biological or shit like that? No, you need to get checked out immediately. That is dangerous as hell. If it's real, I don't know. Yeah, the dude's social media post, this guy is like a fucking leftist dingbat. He's got a trooned out kid and all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah, or acidic. Yeah, I mean, it could be acidic. It could be corrosive or caustic. It could have burns on it. But here's the point. He has been charged. And chat, just like I told you with Don Lemon and the gang, what's going to happen to this guy? He's being tried and charged in the District of Minnesota. So what's going to happen? He's going to get the Minnesota commies on his jury. He's going to get some DFLers. Maybe he gets tried in Minneapolis. It's going to be a regional jury. And guess what? Guess who's going to convict? I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. But this guy's a left-winger like they are. So anyways, the guy's name is Anthony James Mirzak. And anyway, so somebody, I'm an agent with the FBI, blah, 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 blah. So what did he do? Well, he forcibly assaulted, and guys, that is assault. That is assault. An unwanted touching and assaulting somebody with a liquid like that is assault, just like spitting is assault. But he also imposed, impeded, intimidated, and interfered with a member of the United States Congress, was an officer, employee of the United States or agency or any branch of the U.S. government, a person designated in section of 18 U.S.C. 11114. That's a lot of ones. I don't think I got that right. But yes, it was just vinegar. But at the time, nobody knows. But notice she's in the performance of her official duties, which is what people were obstructing ICE with. 18 U.S.C. 111. We've covered that before. It's a very common phrase. It's a very common section to use. So what are the facts? Omar was conducting an official town hall at 2100 Plymouth Avenue, North Minneapolis, which would have been fucking hilarious if I showed up to that. But anyways, this guy was seated in the audience in the front row. He stood up and quickly approached her at the front of the room. He had a syringe in his hand. and continued to rapidly approach while he sprayed her with an unidentified liquid. It was goo! According to Representative Omar, the liquid stained her clothes and may have reached her face and right eye. Yeah, chat, once again, you're getting sprayed with an unknown substance and it gets in your eyes. No, I'm just going to fuck it and take my chances. No, I go to the hospital. You know, it's just the whole thing is sus. The whole thing is sus. As he sprayed her, he gestured at Omar and shouted at her before turning away and being brought to the floor by 2 security officers. The town hall meeting was temporarily disrupted and delayed. Hey, that's not a big deal. Remember, it's his First Amendment right. Just like the church protesters. Representative Omar, though visibly shaken, continued with the town hall and later posted on an X that she was okay. So they immediately saw him at the jail, and he's in the Hennepin County Jail on charges of 3rd-degree assault. So he was charged under state law, and he will be charged under federal law, obviously, here. A photo of the syringe and liquid were taken into evidence. Here's the syringe. And they say the substance. So somebody, a hazmat specialist, notice, the police brought in a hazmat specialist because they weren't taking chances. But yet Ilhan Omar's like, I'm fine. I'm going to keep talking about bananas and rice. They field tested and determined it's water and apple cider vinegar. The substance was sent on to a state laboratory for further testing and analysis. That is how you properly do it. That's how you properly do it. It's super sus. It's sus as fuck. The various videos were posted on social media. The one video of the assault shows him standing up and approaching after she calls on Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to resign, which wouldn't be a bad idea. She's fucked up a lot here. Fuck, let Tom Homan be the Homeland Security Secretary. Just let him run on all. After he sprays the liquid, she appears to flinch as the spray lands on her. I'm sure that's the first time she's not been basted by a man in public. And he begins to turn away on her, and he appears to say, she's not resigning. You're splitting Minnesotans apart. Who knows what he's really saying? And there's statements that he previously made about Representative Omar. And they say they went ahead and they said that several years ago, he was speaking to the person on the phone about Representative Omar and said, somebody should kill that bitch. Notice they're reaching here. Oh, we said this years ago. Yeah, it's not her first ropes. Her first ropes, yes. A post located by law enforcement on his public-facing Facebook chat. Notice how far they're going back. Notice how far back in time they're going. For 2021, depicted the following. None for thee. And defunding police. And they say the conclusion based on the totality of the circumstances here. You have probable cause to believe that he committed the subject offense, which he did. Do not attack your congressman, chat. It's not a good idea. But notice this got signed by the fucking judge. The magistrates over there fucking signed this one. Isn't it funny how they did that, not the one for Don Lemon? Fucking pussy-ass magistrate judges out there. Absolute horseshit. Isn't that interesting how they did that? Well, such is life, chat. Such is life. Such is life. Now, speaking of that, there's an interesting thing that happened, and that is in the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, which is where Minnesota is, the United States of America sought mandamus for issuance of arrest warrants for all the people the magistrate judge denied to do it for. So they sought an emergency petition for writ of mandamus for issuance of arrest warrants. And it got denied. So what happened? So it is all 3 of the judges here said, no, we're not doing it. Now, and this is where a lot of people misread this guy and they didn't read it properly. He said, I would deny the emergency petition without prejudice on the basis that while the district court has acknowledged it has authority to review the magistrate's refusal to sign warrants, The complaint and affidavit clearly established probable cause for all 5 warrants. And while there's no discretion to refuse to issue an arrest warrant once cause for its issuance has been shown, the government has failed to establish and has no other adequate means of obtaining the requested relief. Meaning they didn't go to someone else. They didn't do everything else. So the court's saying, I can't give it to you because you didn't do it right. But he is saying, if you had done all of your remedies and you came to me, I would support you. So remember, chat, there are times where you may be right, but you still haven't exhausted your remedies. And if you don't exhaust your remedies and options, I can't help you. So he's not saying, people were saying, oh, all 3 agree. No, just this guy, Gras. He's the only one who did. The others did not. They said no. He said yes. So the rest of them didn't do it. Yes, come back later and try again. Yes. Remedies nuts. So that is where we are with those. And guys, remember, Don Lemon, all those arrest complaints were withdrawn. It sounds like they're going to try for a grand jury, which I doubt they're going to get fucking grand jury indictments out of this. So those guys who fucked up the churches, including Don Lemon, they're probably going to walk. Sadly, that's what's going to happen there. But yeah, you have fun with that. We'll have fun with that because that's what we have to do, chat. We have to cope. We have to cope. So, I thought you had to pass a sort of cognitive function test to be a congressman. No. And they're the stories that circulate that the congressional pharmacies and stuff like that, they just hand out tons of Alzheimer's and dementia drugs. Like we have all kinds of old people like in cognitive function. Remember Nancy Pelosi? Good morning, Sunday morning. Remember that? No, you don't need a cognitive function to be in Congress. Oh, Liquid Zeus says, I just joined the stream. Did the body cam for Nick finally come out? No, it's never coming out. Sorry, we lose. We have to suffer, chat. We have to suffer. Yes, Feinstein did that the same day she cast a vote in Congress of Alzheimer's complications. Yep. So, yes, and that Radcon has is correct. Remember, we also had a congressman thought Guam would tip over if we put more troops on it. Yes. Now, where are we at with that? Well, those are kind of the big things here, chat. The only other thing I thought was hilarious is, well, actually, no, that's it. The Cope and Seethe of Minnesota. Thanks, Minnesota, for being gay. That's Minnesota there. They're gay. Oh. Let me see. Where are we at here? Yes, chat. We're going to round out some of the other stuff we're dealing with tonight. Guys, if you remember you guys remember in Seattle, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, CHAZ, or known as CHOP, the little commie haven that they worked on. Remember, at the time when they did it, they attacked anybody who came in with head cameras, and then the commies did the thing. They murdered 2 black men inside of CHAZ. The little commie commissars murdered 2 black people. One of them was a teenager. And the city of Seattle got sued because, remember, this operated as an insurrection. They operated without any authority and the support of the Seattle government and the state government. Holy shit. Joe Schmo with 50 subs. God damn. Big fucking support. Holy shit, Joe. Damn, thank you. You know, if that don't get you Clyde, I don't know what does, Chad. That gets you in a woo. Joe, thank you for your support and your generosity. Thank you for supporting the show. I appreciate it. And while there's 50 of you out there getting a chat, please make sure you tell Joe thanks. That's yeah. It's free bird time now. Yeah. Yes. No, Joe, thank you. Thank you very much. That is thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hold on. What is Oh, sorry, Alyssa, I didn't see your thing about the total Waldo victory yet. I didn't see that till just now. Oh, Joe needs a cognitive test. Well, thank you. Yeah. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. He did it of his own volition. He's a sound mind. Don't you challenge it, chat. Can't say it was care. Oh, Joe Schmo didn't even get himself his membership. He got to buy it separately. Yeah, I always wonder, like, you think YouTube would, like, if you don't have one and you buy multiples, it should smack you with one too. But I don't know. It's weird like that. Joe Schmo says, you are welcome. Keep doing good stuff in 2026. Well, thank you, Joe. Thank you. I'm tipping Guam back up. Oh, damn. That is awesome, Joe. Thank you so much for your support. Guys, I don't understand it to this day. How or why you guys support me. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I feel like I'm just a goober most of the time, but thank you so much. Thank you. You hear that you're smarter than some. You hear that, chat? You're smarter than some congressmen. Yes, and yeah, no, Joe, we do deserve. We gotta get some other things out here, chat.
See this? That means not welcome.
That's right, chat. I'm wearing red, but this is a green neighborhood. Keep moving, Grays. It means not welcome. Oh, Iman Rez Uwu for 5 subs. Thank you. That's right, chat. Oh, let's see here. What did you guys just say? Our goober is something sentimental, yeah. Yeah. We're just the right kind of retarded like you. Yeah, well, there you go. Did I see the new Russell Greer lawsuit? Yeah, we're going to get into some of that stuff tomorrow. There's an update in the Ethan Klein thing. There's also a Stuttering John update. We'll kind of we'll tie all that in. And I got to get read up because the Destiny shit is like starting to pile up here. So it's got some very, like from what I could read, there's some very awkward like things that are being alleged there, which don't really make the case much better for him. Even if he wins it, it's still like, that's how you got to win. It's like, I don't know if it's better to lose. Well, hold on. What's this? Oh, hey, I mean, I'm not going to play Freebird. Any Destiny updates from what I've pieced together in the thread? Because the farm's really good at like being able to poke in there and see what's going on. I mean, we're now to the part of I wasn't actually sexting a minor. I was sexting a gooner member of my forums who was pretending to be a minor that I was sexting. Joke's on you. It's like, I don't really know if that's really a win, but hey, if that's how you got it, if that's how you think you got to win, I guess you've got your win, I guess. I don't know, Chad. I just work here. Athens says, did I miss a Rare Breed show? No. That's not yet. I was trying to see if I could get a guest to come in and would join us on that, but we may be doing that on our own here. Eric says, "Oh, come on. We party with Freebird." We'll do a little Freebird, I guess. We'll do a little Freebird here. Never read your heroes lawsuits about sex. Well, that too. Oh. Did I watch Brendan Banfield's boss testify? No. I heard there was a special guest, but we didn't get to that yet. So no, I did not do it yet. There's a hold on. Where is it, chat? Ethical age play, yes. Ethical age play for 10 subs. Or for Tectone, consensual non-consent, chat. Can we hit the goal? Chooch's talking about his boss being juicy. Is that what he wants? I don't know, chat, but apparently he thinks his boss is juicy. It's 2026. Sexually harass your boss because it's okay going up the chain, just not down. Actually, it's not legal advice. Don't do that. You'll get fired. Juicy or juicy? Oh, I mean, you're going to have to... Well, it depends on what kind of business he works in, chat. The grays are the true resistance. They need to be snuffed out. Otto Wall says, watch YouTube boot me. No, they won't. This will just be content ID'd and copyrighted. So I won't be able to get, like, if 20 million people watch this, I won't get that money. But no, we'll be fine otherwise. Jefferson Post for $2 says, Destiny, it was sexy to a traveler, not person. Yes. Last right, Zero says, Sean, where's the keto, Sean? They say I felt it, Sean. Oh. Greens are glowies. Yeah, but you know, they're my glowies. We're gonna make America green again, chat. Zerty for one sub. That's just picking one out and going, pow. Destiny needs to step up to the Turkey Tom levels. Oof. That Turkey Tom stuff, buddy, man. Listen to that interview Null did with them. Wow, chat. Yeah. So he says, you know what Terry Davis says about glowies? That's right. That's Uncle Terry. Uncle Terry tells you what to do about glowies.
The CIA niggers glow in the dark. You can see them if you're driving. You just run them over. That's what you do.
What you do. That is what you do, chat. Just run over the glowies. Oh. Yes, Liquid Juice, I did hear other Minnesota news. Mr. Medicare is actually appears to be cautiously optimistic that he's on the rebound or on the upswing with his health. Yeah. Sounds like the cancer is under control, and they've now figured out his underlying other health issues that were exacerbated by the treatment. So, yes. Why won't you die, Medicare? He's not dead. He's not dead. Terry Davis was a prophet. Yes, he was. Jess Smith says Mr. Medicare's alive. Yes, he is. Unless you're talking about Terry Davis. No, Uncle Terry is still no longer with us. He went to the big coding box in the sky. Yes, Terry's coding heaven now. So. All right, guys. So, yeah, anyways, getting back to this real quick. This is the situation here. People sued the city of Seattle. And they sued them on the theory the city was negligent in how it handled the weeks-long protest zone. And they got $30 million from the jury. And what happened? Antonio Mays was 16, and he got killed because they drove their car in there, and the fucking little communist trying to LARP as the police ended up being racist police and killing people of color. Isn't that ironic? Isn't it ironic? They speed ran being government and just started murdering minorities within weeks of forming. Oh, Victor Davis Hansen's cancer surgery was a success. Based. That's very based. Very based. But anyways, the lawsuit alleges that Mays had been lured into CHOP by city officials who made statements supporting it in the BLM movement back in 2020. And they said they were driving around the park when they were shot by civilian guards who were acting as security. Not civilian guards, fucking commissars. That they were acting as the enforcers, the muscle. A bunch of dirty little communists. And after being shot, the CHOP medics, the Antifa medics, pulled him from the Jeep and drove him outside of CHOP to rendezvous with the ambulance crews. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome how they did it? Yeah. And then after the shooting, the bystanders, meaning the commies, had been in and out of the car before the detectives could access it. And remember, the commies were refusing ambulances in and out. They were refusing police to come in and out. Yeah, the NKVD wannabes. Yes, the Vanguard. And it was the fourth shooting there in a month. And they say a week before, another black man was killed. Somebody was actually held responsible for that, but still, it's like, you know, they were all mad about Black Lives Mattering, and they fucking killed black people. It's like brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And it's sad though. They fucking killed kids. They killed people. And they killed a fucking 16-year-old. It's absolutely fucking sad. Absolutely sad. The SoundCloud rapper, yeah, who dabbled in gun running. Yep, that was the leader. That was the leader. Jay Goods is only a decade for murder. I mean, fuck, that they convicted him at all is a miracle. All the fucking commies in Seattle, man. So, even the Prussians let the Paris Commune alone. It wasn't worth dealing with. Yeah. Oh. Oh, man. Oh, man. Interesting times, chat. Interesting times. I still call it AutoZone. They also cleaned up the crime scene. Yes. Yes. Yes, it was called the Capitol Hill Occupy protest. Then it became the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zones. Yes. Very true. Very true. Yes, Will Stansel, speaking of other Minnesota news, Will Stansel got fired from the Minnesota ICE groups because he was letting the press hang out with him while he was doing his ICE reporting. And the commies were like, you're drawing too much heat and attention to us. So they kicked him out, which is based. Anybody fucking with Will Stansel is based in my book, at least for the second they're doing it. But yes, I did see that Pepsi Man. Yes. Other news, chat. Other news is if you guys remember Sonya Massey, you guys will remember this body cam footage here. If you guys remember this, Sonya Massey was in Illinois and she was at her home by herself and she was having some mental health issues. And she said she thought somebody was around. And obviously she's living in this little rinky-dink apartment. And the cops realize there's no one around, yet they come in with her. And here is the footage of her death. If you guys don't remember.
Just a driver's license will do, and I'll get out of your hair.
And as John Bryan, the civil rights attorney, points out, this fetish or this obsession cops have with, I got to have your license, I got to document things. Well, they don't need to, but
I want to show y'all my paperwork.
I will get your paperwork.
What paperwork?
Okay. I got some paperwork.
Well, just get your ID.
Well, let's get your ID first, and then
one task at a time here.
Okay. Let me
Here, grab your ID for me.
Okay.
Your ID, one task at a time. So let's do an ID, and then you can dig around for your paperwork.
I don't know where my ID is.
you have that stack right there, maybe.
1 second.
Check on her.
Let me get this.
We don't need a fire while we're here.
Right. Right.
So no, so go tell her to turn off the fucking stove. Go turn it off. And all of a sudden, oh no, you're near a deadly weapon. It's like, well, it's like telling her, go pick, it's like in Mayor of Kingstown, Kingstown. When the SWAT guy walks in and tells him, pick up the gun. He's got the rifle on him. He says, pick up that gun. The guy picks up, he's like, bam! It's like, this isn't fucking fair.
Huh?
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from the hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I would rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Huh?
Rebuke you in the name of
You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the
Fucking pussy ass motherfucker. Pussy ass motherfucker right there.
fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot!
19 shots fired.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Drop the fucking pot! Bring EMS now. We got a headshot wound to the female. Headshot wound to the female. 1078. Fuck.
I was on. I'm gonna go get my kit.
Now, your headshot, bitch. She's done. You can go get it, but that's a headshot. God damn it.
God, fuck.
Yeah. Protected and served. Protected and served the fuck out of that lady. And now he's only got the pot to piss in, yeah. Remember, he was convicted of second-degree murder by the jury, and today, he was sentenced to 20 years in prison for murdering Sonya Massey, which, I mean, the fact she's dead, she did get justice. And at the end of the day...
Was this story based? Yes.
Yep. Prison for this son of a bitch. Yes, he was sentenced to 20 years in prison after Sonya Massey called 911 to report a possible intruder at her home. So, it sucks though. That's all, her family doesn't get her back. But this is justice though. I mean, it's sad. This is all the justice can be, but it is still justice nonetheless. But we learned that this guy apparently was an itinerant. He was the typical itinerant policeman who had been fired from here, fired from there, quit from here, resigned from there. This idea of the journeyman cop who is a problem child and goes from department to department and nobody ever catches up to him. Well, now somebody died because of that. And, it's a shame. It's a shame Sonya Massey had to die. She shouldn't have died. And, yeah, it's bullshit. Yeah, he was at 6 departments. 6 departments. Yeah, funny how that occurs. I know. It's like the NFL. The NFL and police are very similar. You could be a journeyman quarterback and keep fucking up and keep getting jobs. So. But how long will they actually keep him in? I don't know. Hopefully for a while. Quicksilver says, now sue the department. Oh, I'm sure they will, and I hope they do, and I hope they make some money. I hope they make money there. Let's see here. Grifting Gamer says, why are we sipping for the schizo crazy black woman? She didn't deserve to be shot. Nothing in this shows her deserving to be shot. They tell her to go over and grab the pot and remove it. And then she's standing there with the pot, and they're literally like, there's like 15 feet of room between them. There's a thing in the way. Like, you don't get to tell somebody to pick up something and like, oh my God, now it's a weapon. All she said is, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. If he's that retarded, that panics him and thinks he has to fucking like, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. He's like, ah, what was that? Ah! Fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck him. Yeah, I doubt this guy would know the color of the boathouse at Hereford. Correct. Amon Reza said she had boiling water and threatened to scald him, though. No, she didn't. Where did she say, I'm going to scald you? He told her to go pick up the water. Watch this again. They tell her to go pick it up.
There, maybe.
1 second.
Check on her. We don't need a fire while we're here.
All right.
Notice they tell her to go over and turn it off because they don't want a fire.
Huh?
Wait, her mom... I couldn't find video of the Sean Grayson sentencing. I didn't see it earlier when I was looking. But if her mom said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus at sentencing, that's based. That is based if that happened. Like, fucking awesome. I hope that happened and he had to sit there and, like... sitting there all handcuffed. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Ah! It's like, yeah, I bet you got scared again, you fucking pussy. Oh. Oh, she was in her kitchen with a kitchen utensil. Yeah. Yep. Yep, like Browns quarterbacks. Yep. 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 So anyways, I started blasting. Yep. So he is the one that's suggesting the pot of water be thrown. Yes, I know. Oh, I saw the press conference after. Oh, okay. Well, here we go. Let me see.
Convicted of killing a woman
Let's see if
inside
this
her
shows it.
Springfield, Illinois home after she was the one who picked up the phone and called 911 for help. You're looking at the mugshot for Sean Grayson, convicted of second-degree murder last October for that 2024 shooting of Sonya Massey. CBS News reporter Karen Hua was in.
Okay, I want to hear the family talk. Okay, this lady's not the family. Oh, here we go.
Afraid that this would happen, that he would get the maximum sentence. But we look forward to him being prosecuted federally for violation of Sonya's civil rights. I don't care about who's running this country right now, but I'm gonna let you know that as her dad, I want him prosecuted federally too, so that when his sentence is up here in the state of Illinois, he can begin his federal sentence in the federal penitentiary.
Now, ultimately, speaking to several members of the...
I mean, yeah, he could face that. He could face federal civil rights cases, just like Derek Chauvin did. Oh, there were 2 press conferences. Well, I don't have it, so I don't know where it's at, which sucks. But yeah, no, honestly, it's such horseshit what they did to her, and he fucking shot her down, and she never had a chance. She never had a chance. And it's a fucking shame. It's a fucking shame what they did to that woman. So, all the hard times says, "Oh Jesus, is Reverend Grab a Dollar." No, that was her father. And besides, you know what? When this type of thing happens, Ben Crump and those guys are within their rights to start grabbing for money because the government fucked up. Guess what? You're paying. Your fucking goon wrongly murdered somebody. You better pay. So Yeah, I don't feel bad for that. I don't feel bad for that one at that point. Okay, hold on here. Where is... Hold on here. There is... hold on, chat. I'm trying to see. So, hold on, chat. They sent me a link here. I'm trying to... I don't see it. I don't see the mom talk. I don't see the mom talking, guys. If you're going to send it to me, I need a timestamp for it because I can't sit there and scroll through. He has stage 4 colorectal cancer. Well, I guess that's going to be final for him. So, oh well. Oh well. Yeah. Oh. If they saw the pot of water as boiling, they could have turned on themselves. Oh, yeah. 100% they could have. 100% they could have. But once again, that guy is going away. Yeah, allegedly he's got stage 4 cancer. It's like, well, I mean, that's kind of what you get, I guess. Kind of what you get. Yeah, Suffocapa. Yeah. I mean, it sucks, but hey, you know what? You're still alive. I'm sure you know who's not alive and sucks for? Sonya Massey. So talk about pain in the ass. But I don't wish it on people, but I don't wish him not to have it either. Well, yeah, I mean it sucks. It sucks. And half Seamus Racing says, you mean they don't have cutting edge oncology in prison hospitals? No, and he probably will get treatment, but it's yeah. Ass cancer in prison would suck. I'm sure it would. Oh, mom's rebuking comments were live tweeted because it was in court. Okay, well, that is still based. So yeah. Yeah, maybe he can rebuke his cancer and he can stab it with a shank or something. All right, guys. So that is the update there. And we're going on to the final thing tonight, guys. Tectone. If you guys don't know who Tectone is a streamer. He's like Asmongold. He is, all that stuff. And he's, I don't know. He's kind of one of these people, like a lot of these types on YouTube. They come out of nowhere. They were previously somewhere and they rebrand or whatever. Anyways, Tectone's been on Twitch and YouTube. And he's come out and kind of been like, gone after Destiny, gone after Hassan. He's kind of like Asmongold, except his studio isn't completely full of garbage. And other than that, they're kind of similar. He's a little more buff, but it is there. It is there for him. But anyways, this is him, and he fucks with the Sandpiker in Destiny. So you're thinking, I can't be that bad. Well, there is another streamer known as Pinky Chew, who is a woman who filed an application for a protection order against him. It's not a protection order out against Tectone. And at some point in a Discord, this person named Wooden Badger, I believe in Tectone's Discord, posted up a web address for how to find the court case. And this person says this is the court case. It's just Miskiff, and that's another streamer. He's got his own fucking stuff. A lot of these people are fucking weirdos. Anyways, it's Miskiff making a big old shit, big old stink out of a big old nothing burger. Now, this is the Wooden Badge thing, because initially, if you go look for him, you can't find this. Now, yes, Techie the Touchy. Yes, apparently. So, from here, how do we know that the people are claiming it's Tectone? Because Tectone uses the ol instead of old. He uses it all the time. That's how they're going after Tectone, because he says it all the time here. People think that is Tectone. And the problem is, it's a protection order. And this stuff wasn't available for searching. But somehow, I guess the Travis County, Texas people running their website for a court search didn't set it up in a way that it can't be provided other ways. Yes, they do, and it's Odyssey, so people have access. Yes. It's all out there. It's all out there. And guess what? I got copies of the documents too. So I went ahead and grabbed them. But yeah, also here's a picture of Tectone if you don't really know what it looks like. So it's interesting how it was set up. It's interesting that, who would have had access to this? Well, Tectone, Pinky Chew, and the attorneys. Those are the only people who would have access to it. So who leaked it? Who leaked it? Well, it kind of looks like it might have been Tectone. Miss Kiff will never be more than Ice Poseidon's cameraman. Funny. Well, anyway, Tectone, I know Mindset went through the transcript. The transcripts are really fucking bad. I will say there was a full hearing on all this stuff, but the initial way this starts going is here. And this is, and I'm not going to blur anything out because it's all out there already. This was filed back in August. So Linda Lamar is versus John Robertson. And Linda's seeking a protection order against Tectone. What's the relationship? They previously dated. We're going to get to what previously dated means because, wow. Okay. So they previously dated. So he engaged in conduct that constitutes family violence or a felony offense involving family violence and sexual assault and or stalking. So what do they talk about here? Well, there's nobody under 18, no other adults are seeking protection, blah, 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 blah. What are they doing here? Well, they wanted an immediate order. She wanted an immediate order here. There's all kinds of stuff that has happened here that they want done. We're going to get to the actual stuff here that they want. The residence, she has her own residence, so there's nothing here. They want a temporary ex parte order, and they're going to get that. She got that. There's a request for confidentiality. Well, that didn't work out too well. Oops. Now, there's an actual here declaration, and this is her thing. And, she talks about where she is. She says, we previously dated, and we lived together in the past from December 2022 to July 2024. Now, how does that work? You guys might say, well, they don't live together. They're not a family. That's actually not correct. In most states, if you cohabitate with somebody for a long enough time span, it qualifies as a household member. So you may not be family with your girlfriend, but if you've lived together for a year and you guys get into a fight, you could still get domestic violence charged against you. Keep that in mind. Now, she says that Tectone committed the following acts. And she says that in May of 2024, what happened? I was lying in bed with John when he asked me to perform oral sex on him. I had recently gotten a lip injection procedure done. It told him my lips hurt. It's like Happy Gilmore. My fingers hurt. And I didn't want to. He then pushed my head down and didn't let go until I put my mouth on his schlong and performed oral sex. My lips hurt significantly. Is it because your lips hurt or did he have a big hog? And the filler migrated around my face because of this incident. It's like, just think about that. Like, I haven't seen I've tried to find the pictures, but are there pictures where she just got this big dent in the middle of her lips and it all puffed out on the sides? Oh, yeah. That's, yes. Now, from here, did I report this incident to the police? No, I later did in January 2025. It's like, they're not going to necessarily charge that. It's like that's a lot of time gone by for that. We're into 2026 now. Like, when this is 2025, they're not going to do it. They're not going to look into this. It's a couple months old. Like that's a bit, that's a problem. And as a defense attorney, I'm going to bring up that's a problem. Like, why'd you wait? Like, what happens? You have to do anything with it? I had to go to the doctor to get the filler dissolved. And then what happened in 2024? I was crying by the side of the bathtub and Tectone grabbed my head, shoved it towards his crotch, and said that my crying turned him on. Well, there are people who think that. We watched the Brandon Banfield trial. There was a guy who thought that. No, but I later reported this to the police in January. In March of 2024, Tectone wanted me to blow him. I recently had gotten a boob job done and was told by a doctor not to lay on my stomach while I was recovering. I told Tectone I didn't want to blow him because of this. While I was sitting up, Tectone pushed me onto his legs so my back was on his legs and pushed my head onto his penis. This forced my mouth to make contact. He would not let go of my head unless I complied. So I gave in to his demands until he was finished. Once again, I didn't report it till later. And certainly it's within the statute of limitations. But it sounds like they probably aren't moving on it because especially now, over a year's gone by, they still haven't done anything. So they're probably never going to do anything with it. Although one of the things that helps is getting massive press coverage can kind of force the government's hand at times. So if I'm Tectone, you're not out of the woods yet, man. You're not out of the woods yet. Yes, Brewberries. Yes, not the boob job. Yeah. Yes, he sounds. I mean, it's not saying it's not credible, but it's like, yeah. Now we'll get to where he violates restraining order because he talks about some things here. He mentions it and makes allusions to things. And he's probably going to be in some trouble here. We'll get to that. And he says, when I first moved in with Tectone, he told me that instead of paying rent, I'd have to blow him whenever he wanted. I felt like I had no other option to comply. Did you really? Like, it's kind of the whole Destiny thing. I want the clout. I want the power. I want all those things. Around February or March, I told him I didn't want to live by this agreement anymore and told him I pay rent. However, after this, he found other ways to coerce me into performing oral sex on him when I didn't want to. For example, he'd remind me of items or meals he bought for me and tell me that I owed it to him if I didn't comply. He repeatedly guilt-tripped me until I complied. I mean, if you're that manipulable, I mean, like, jeez. Like, this is just, some of this, it sounds like awful, but then there's other times where it's like, well, he guilt tripped me until I did. It's like, well, then fucking, yeah. I mean, it, like, throughout the time I lived on Tectone to record me when he wanted to perform or when blow him. There are instances when he would record these moments without my consent. Okay, yeah, that's fucked up, but hey, it's like, Tectone and Destiny together forever. There are at least 2 instances for oral sex where Tectone pushed my head down onto his schlong hard without my consent, and this caused me to throw up. Okay, well, like, he gave you a rough, like, that's gonna be. I mean, so are all these incidents of coerced oral sex, or was some of these voluntary? Because it sounds like you're saying, without my consent, that these ones, at least 2 of them, were consensual. And then he makes you, makes you do your Pac-Man practice, waka, 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 and you didn't like it. Okay, but it sounds like it was consensual up to that point. Like, this is, I think there's some issues there. This is a grade A raving dick review. Yes. Yeah, Tectone sounds like his dad. Yeah, that is Tectone's dad did a lot of fucked up shit. Yes. Grifty Gamers has got to go keep up. We'll have a good one. Hydrosphere says you weren't ready for me to go waka waka waka. Thought Eric says if you go back after being SA'd, you avoid the accusation. You don't. And that's it's difficult to explain, but there are times where there are power dynamics. And from having, and being on the defense side, yeah, I'd argue that's the argument, but there are people who are in these situations who do go back. It's the same thing for women in domestic violence situations, men in domestic violence situations. Sometimes you go back. It's because you don't know anything else and you don't know where to go and, all that. So it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon. And they said it's often because some difficulty remembering when each one occurred. Okay. After I moved out in July, I made a post on X about my experience as a victim of sexual coercion, but I didn't specify a perpetrator. Tectone then threatened to post revenge porn on me if I didn't take the post down. This made me afraid because I knew he recorded me. He was also consistently live streaming or posted on rants claiming I am attempting to ruin his image. Well, there are some things there. There are a couple of things here. This is a very interesting one. This is a very interesting one. This is we're kind of like clips of people, but this is Chud Logic reviewing a clip of Tectone, and yeah, we'll let it speak for itself.
Her lips look fuckable as shit. But the problem is anybody who has lip fillers cannot suck dick worth a damn.
So anyway, that's the clip from yesterday.
Yeah.
When he talks about it, right?
Yeah.
And this is another clip of some different video that he's watching.
And this is, and the allegation is that's clearly who he's talking about. Yes. So it's like, oof. Oof. Oof, chat.
Mascara, all the trimmed up eyebrows where they're like chiseled in by like a fucking needle, like completely fake fucking eyebrows, lip filler, 3 pounds of fucking lip filler. Oh, and by the way, fellas, just letting you know, lip filler might look good. It's fucking terrible because when a woman has lip filler in, they can't suck your dick as hard. Otherwise, it might fuck up the filler. So it looks good, but you can't do anything with it. So what's the fucking point? You know what I'm saying? She looks more so like she's a lizard than she's a fucking human being at this point. There's just, I hate these fucking people who get this much surgery, who get this much cosmetics, and a 4 or 10 woman thinks they're a fucking 8 or 10.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is a whoa, buddy moment. That's a whoa, buddy moment. The fact he said it doesn't necessarily make the claim true. I mean, yes. But yes, Michelle, I think, also, Michelle, it's good to see you. You're saying, yes, women get lip filler for other women. Yes, that's the point. Yeah, that's a very good point here. Yes, and Luke says that he's concerned about this because he does not stick his penis in the vagine. Yes, he does not, apparently. He's not polite, but he's not wrong. Well, yes, that's true as well. So Tectone said nothing wrong, but he is basically talking about her, and this is all racist stuff, and he, this is, oh yeah, they look terrible. That's not the point. Anyways, it goes on to talk about that he would post his conversations. She said, I worked with an attorney to have Tectone serve the cease and desist in January 2025. Despite this, he made a bunch of posts about me. He posted a live stream on Twitch where he called me a liar and threatened to sue me. She said, I haven't heard from him directly since November of 24, but his posts online insulting and threatening me continued. This concludes a comment where he said he would go nuclear when the legal involvement between him and I ends. He accused me of swatting him and said, the world will know what you've done. Late October, early November, that's when. These have caused me significant emotional harm and mental distress. He says, every day I'm afraid John will act on his threats to post intimate videos or photos of me, and I fear he won't ever stop. Tectone knows where I live. I'm concerned if he becomes angry, he will show up my home unannounced to threaten or harm me. Well, you live in Texas, buy a fucking gun. That would be base. That would be great content. I'm going to murder Tectone live because he comes into my house. Bop, bop, bop. That would be great. Quippy says, if I'm talking about fat dudes, does that mean you're talking about me? I mean, I would assume so. And they say, then they talk about his response sexually abusive. Yes. Have you been had he been drinking or drugs? No. They talk about this other stuff here. They talk about who she is and where she lives. All right. Well, they had a hearing. They had a hearing, chat, on this where testimony was taken, and it's an adversarial situation. And Ms. Kiff had some people there, and whoa, man. I hate to use Reddit, but this is the one place I found the clip that was good. Oh, hold on here, chat.
True. You actually would sit her down with a whiteboard.
Now, this is the attorney for Pikachu questioning Tectone, saying, isn't it true that if she didn't agree, you would sit her down with a whiteboard and he would draw out why she should suck his dick? Here we go.
Just wait, chat. Okay, but that's not true. You actually would sit her down with a whiteboard and go over everything to convince her that she was wrong. I'm failing to see how this two connect, but I don't understand what you, in regard, we've talked about with the whiteboard. And you would sit down with her with the
Ms. Kiff sent somebody down to the hearing to go watch it.
Whiteboard, and whatever position she was taking, you were all disagreeing on, correct? If we were having an argument and not seeing eye to eye, and we weren't seeing eye to eye, visual aid really helped her, as well as to me. This dude would pull out a whiteboard to explain why she is wrong about consensual, non-consensual.
When you put it like that, yeah. When you put it like that, oof. Oof, oof, oof. Yeah, I know Ms. Kiff has his own allegations, and this draws heat off of him. But yeah. This ain't good. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? He would have to bring out a whiteboard and say, oh, the reason why is because she doesn't understand it. So I have to visually show her and explain it.
I mean, maybe she's too retarded to understand it. I don't know.
So we would have a conversation of non-consensual, consensual on a fucking whiteboard. Are you kidding me? And he admits it. This is him talking.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, that is yeah. A towel that close to the TV is a crime. Yes. Hot sauce on stream, it's not even Billy Mitchell's. I know. And actually, I need to order some Rickies myself. I don't have any. And that's a shame. That's shameful of me to do. Not have any. I need to get some and try it out. Yeah, her lip filler mic created to Miss Kiff's lips. I can't wait for Miss Kiff at trial. Well, that's the thing. These guys have all in their fucking same problems. Like, they've all got issues. They're all fucking sex pests. They're all sex pests. Dobbin says, why not use MS Paint? I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't. But yes, apparently he's like, here's why you need to suck my dick. And it's like, if he could write it out, and she's like, oh, okay. It's like, we're all visual learners, chat. We're all visual learners. The Law and Order writers are like, we'll do this one now. Oh. Can we use Microsoft Teams? Yes. Although I think there's a oh god, what is it? Yeah, there's Teams where that happens. Only if you use a PowerPoint presentation. Well, yes, all these guys will never reach peak Ralph Male energy. These guys would never. These guys are not sector material, let me tell you. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff, to quote the great Mark Antony. Lucifer says, believe all women. Yeah. Well, getting on from this, guys, they had the hearing, and it was an adversarial hearing. That's how these go. You get to challenge things. There's evidence taken in open court, testimonies offered, the rules of evidence apply. People can bring in their own witnesses. There's objections, all that stuff. All the rules apply. Now, remember, it's not a beyond a reasonable doubt level, because that's not where we're at. And depending on the state, but it's usually going to be a reduced threshold of either, preponderance of the evidence, but usually it's like kind of like a clear and convincing standard. So like it's still a little more than half, but you're going to have to show some things there. Yes, it's a DSP style business meeting about blowjobs. God damn, yes. Tectone Burnell. Tectone Burnell. Oh my God. Tectone Burnell. Holy Jesus. You nailed it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're not hitting the goal, roomies. We're going to have to wage quit this. We're going to have to wage quit the electric bill tonight. Or the lease. But no, the transcripts are out there. I couldn't find those right away, but we're not going to go through these tonight because Mindset did it and it like 3 hours long and only got through part of it. So we're not doing that, but we are going to go through. We are going to go through the ultimate findings here of what happened. So ultimately, there is a protective order. And this was filed today. It was filed 2 days ago. And this is what's going on here. What's going on? Quote the great Marvin Gaye. So this is the protective order 127/2026. And yes, it takes wage quit to a whole new meaning there. Yes. Now, what is it? So it's a for Linda Lamar against John Robertson. Travis County is where Austin is, isn't it? And then Williamson is, I guess, next door. I don't know. Tejas. All I know is they have a county named Deef Smith, named after a death guy. So appearances, they appeared. They both had attorneys, which is critical at these types of hearings. I have been involved in these hearings where you defend them and the other side doesn't have an attorney, or you're pursuing one and the other side doesn't have an attorney. And usually, you know what happens in those? It's like a fucking Kobe. Like, it's so easy when you fight a pro se party at these hearings because they don't know what they're doing and you just fuck with them and you kick out all kinds of things that they don't follow the rules of evidence and you just fucking throw everything out. It's like, so it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. Now, that's why if you're in these and the other party has an attorney, you need an attorney because you're probably going to lose if you don't. But anyways, the findings and orders, mark all that apply. So findings and orders. So the court and because after the application of its arguments to the parties, if any, the court, notice it hasn't checked any of these boxes. Finds, says it finds under F. There are reasonable grounds to believe the respondent committed one or more of the following offenses. There's blanks, sexual assault, and stalking. Pretty fucking serious. They are current or former dating partners. They were members of the same family or household. Remember, chat, this is what they focused on. They lived together for over 2 years. That's more than enough. But in many places, it's less than a month can establish you are cohabitating. Terms and conditions. Tectone is not to commit any further acts against any member of the family or household. When it says acts including physical harm, bodily injury, or assault, obviously all of that. Or threats reasonably placing a person in fear of physical harm, bodily injury, assault, or sexual assault. Not communicate in any manner with a person protected by this order, except through that person's attorney or a person appointed by the court. The name of the person appointed by the court is her lawyer, the only person you can contact to get in touch with her. Access, so Sticks is fucked then. Oh, yeah. Liquid Magic Chan says, can you just concede and have to go through the evidence? You can consent to a protection order. Yeah, kind of like with Nick and Aaron. Nick and Melton could consent to the harassment restraining order if they wanted to. Like sometimes you will do that to keep evidence off the record. Yeah. I've had that discussion with clients before. Do you want all this shit being put on the record somewhere? No. Then you might want to, we'll just agree. Well, how about we agree to just stay away from this person for a year? Do you ever want to see him again? No. Well, then get, and especially it's like, and we're going to bring up the thing of firearms issues. Well, you already have a felony, so you can't own guns anyway. So no really big problem there. But if you don't have that issue, that is a concern. Now they say that, there's no direct communications. You can't communicate in a threatening or harassing manner, indirectly or directly with a person. That also means through third parties. You can't communicate a threat through any person through a family or household member protected by this order. So if it's a husband and wife, you can't use the kids to relay information or other family members. You cannot go within 200 yards of a person protected by this order. 200 yards, chat. Not go within 200 yards of the residence or place of employment or business. The addresses of the prohibited locations are confidential by order of this court. Okay, well, but, they are confidential, but Tectone would have been, like he's got to stay away. Like, well, where do I go? Or where can't I go? You're not to go within 200 yards of the childcare facilities or schools of a person protected by this order. You're not to engage in conducts likely to harass, alarm, annoy, abuse, torment, or embarrass. You're not to take, harm, threaten, or interfere with the care or custody of any pets or companion animals or assistance animals. So, for example, if he still had her dog, he couldn't fucking kill the dog or injure the dog or harass her over it. You cannot transfer, encumber, or dispose of mutually owned property mutually leased by the parties, except when done as a normal course of business. So you can't sell something and you can't not pay the rent. You can't fuck with people's property like that. Luke says, how do the courts decide that? It all depends. A lot of times they just rely on statutory things. 200 yards is specific, so I'm thinking the court was just really pissed off with what they heard. But have Seamus Racing is saying, Seamus is saying it's 200 yards is pretty standard in Texas. If that's the Texas standard, that's fine. That's fine. But it's not necessarily 200 yards everywhere you go. Some places might say 500 feet. That's a very common thing. Depending on the situation, it might be as low as like 50 feet, depending on like the type of things. Like, let's say you live in an apartment complex and you guys live down the hall from each other. Like, well, you're not being forced to move. You can't track or monitor the person or their motor vehicle. So that means, like, especially for husband and wives, or, you can't turn on iPhone apps and track people around. That's a no-no. You cannot buy, own, possess, or attempt to receive any firearm parts, or ammunition. Unless you're a peace officer actively engaged in employment as sworn full-time paid employee of a state agency or political subdivision. Isn't that neat that cops get a little fucking carve-out? Isn't that neat that they get a fucking carve-out? It'd be nice if we got that kind of fucking carve-outs. No, if they should be fucked too. So that's that's really fucked up there. Not attempt to prevent or dissuade a protected person from attending a hearing. Yeah, because that's basically witness intimidation. You're not allowed to engage in that. So notice, you're not allowed to do as part of this order, but that's also a crime. But anyways, that isn't here. No, nothing here. It says, see other terms and conditions in this order. Okay, well, what are the other terms? There's nothing here about separating telephones, but notice that's a thing nowadays. We have to separate out how phones work. How does that work? Well, nowadays that's a problem. Remember, the law has to catch up with technology and society. And it says, by order of this court, you shall not be, the telephone numbers shall not be released. Then finally, cost. The court orders Tectone to pay the $16 protective order fee. Oh, no, that's going to break his bank. Okay. No, the real problem is the court orders him to pay attorney's fees and the amount of $15,000. Whoa. Monster kill. That's a lot of fucking money. Woo, buddy. Whoa, buddy. 15 G's on a protection order? Goddamn, man. I mean, I know there's attorneys in like that would charge that much for it, but they would charge you that much because they don't want to do it. God damn, making 15 G's on a protection order? God. Woo. Most of the people that get these can't afford shit. Wow. Oh. Nice. Additional things. A court orders, additional orders here. Okay. So they point out a person who violates this order may be punished for contempt of court by a fine of as much as $500 or by confinement in jail of up to 6 months. Yeah, you can get contempt of court for violating this. You're subject to protective order, is released from confinement or imprisonment following the date it would have expired. There's different things that would happen here. So if you're in jail and it expires, the order's automatically extended to expire on the first anniversary of the date you're released. So if Pinky Chew got this today and Tectone was in prison and it went on for a couple years, but in the meantime, Tectone is still in prison and expires, Tectone gets out, it's automatically in effect for another year. That's actually a very good thing. Like, that's not like, we don't have that here in Ohio. If it's done, it's done. That's actually not a bad thing. Like that. Let's see here. Well, folks, did Tectone not have a lawyer? No, he had a lawyer. It's just tough. It's tough. Like, the facts were not in his favor. There's not a whole lot he could do. They point out different things that can happen here. Violations of the order by acts prohibited by this. You could be charged as a misdemeanor or felony offense. Like, it can get very, very expensive for you. Yeah, and that's the thing. In Texas, it's 10 years long. The protective order without charges is 10 years off the bat. 10 years off the rip, she got. Yeah, in Ohio, you can only get a maximum of 5 years, but generally you get like 1 or 2 years. And then you could tack on and renew it from there. So that is a crazy, crazy thing there. Hatchick says, I'm terrified that mine expires next month. Well, talk to an attorney, see what you can do about extending it. Why is it written in caps? Because it's meant to make sure you pay attention. It's meant to make sure you pay attention. It's showing you that it's serious. So, and they say the order is granted pursuant to all of this. They say possessions of firearms. You may not possess firearms or ammunition because of federal penalties. In chat, that's 18 U.S.C. 922 G9, also known as the Lautenberg Amendment. This is an order of protection where you've had due process and adversarial testing of it. It's not ex parte. So yes, this is a restraining order. He will not be allowed to have firearms. So this says, interstate violation of this order may subject you to federal criminal penalties. This is enforceable in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, tribal lands, and U.S. territories. So they point out your written admonishment that you cannot possess firearm or ammunition. By order of this judgment, under Texas law, you're ineligible under Texas law. Now, in Ohio, you're not. Actually, you would not have an Ohio penalty, only federal. They talk about what counts as a firearm. They talk about here for other laws that make you ineligible to possess it. They give you, it's actually interesting, they give you a lot of that. If you have a license to carry a concealed handgun, The court hereby suspends your license for the duration of the order and orders the clerk to send a copy to the Texas Department of Public Safety, their highway patrol, who are in charge of the handgun licensing program, in charge of the concealed carry. Although, doesn't Texas have constitutional carry now or no? But either way, you're not allowed to carry a gun. You're disqualified for possessing a firearm pursuant to federal law, correct? And yes, and here's the things. You've spouses, there was an intimate relationship, and here's the big thing. You've received notice of the hearing, and you were given an opportunity to participate and contest it. The information is confidential. And once again, talk to her lawyer. Orders to the court. They tell the clerk to send the stuff off to Texas DPS. You know, they talk about here order regarding law enforcement assistance. This is actually something that's important. You're excluded from the responded from the residence. And this is where, like, if you live together, but you lived in her house and she kicked you out, the applicant or the person granted possession of the residence requests assistance. The court orders the sheriff to accompany the applicant. So it means like Pinky Chew could go over to Tectone's house with law enforcement help. And what would happen is they would inform Tectone that he's been excluded from the residence, and they protect her while they're there and take possession of the residence. So if it's hers and she gets it, the police would be there and tell them to get the fuck out. If Tectone refused to vacate, they could remove him and arrest him, but it's his house. They don't get to do that. Duration. This order expires on. Here. Well, how long does it go? This order is good until January 12 a.m. and January 23rd, 2036, chat. 10 years. 10 years. Whoa. Whoa. Woo. Whoa, buddy. 10 years, chat. Liquid Magic Chan, we'll get to that in a second here. 10 years, oof. So the date entered by the judge, January 23rd. Date signed, meaning the date the order, the motion is granted. So they had their hearing already a couple days ago. And then a couple days after that, the judge signed the order and executed it. Is that a typo? No. 10 years. In Texas, you can get a 10-year protection order. Dash Boot says, that seems a bit excessive. Well, it sounds like Tectone had really bad fucking facts. And it just sounds like it wasn't very good. It also doesn't help. You know, I mean, like, it's a woman comes in and, you know, white girl, you know, chat, the tears of a white woman are a very potent and powerful weapon. I think Pinky Chan's white, or white enough, but yes. Yeah. Yup. So he is toast on a cracker, chat. And then, yes, this is a separate document, especially because they're Texas. Firearm affidavits. He's acknowledging, I can't own firearms under 18 U.S.C. 922 G 1 through 9, but it's G9 is the actual part we're worried about. G9 is the Lautenberg Amendment. So once again, rotten hell, Frank Lautenberg, scumbag from New Jersey. But it's 18 U.S.C. 922 G9. I can't have any firearms or anything there. Firearms may not be owned, loaned to, or rented by, or borrowed by me. You can't touch them at all. And I understand that by federal law, I can face a term of imprisonment of anywhere from minimum 5 years to 10 years and a fine of not more than $250,000. That is correct, Chad. If you violate federal firearms laws, you have massive fines attached. Those are the same fines if you own a fucking machine gun illegally. Up to 10 years of prison and a $250,000 fine. The judge ordered 10 years without firearms. Well, by definition, though, yes. But also by federal law, you're disarmed for the length of the order. So Liquid Magic Chan, you had the question here. What happens? Well, after 10 years, the order's expired. The rights are restored. Federally, the rights are automatically restored. I assume in Texas, too, your rights are automatically restored under Texas law. Because the order is now gone, you don't necessarily have to go back and get other orders to revacate things. by operation of law, you were no longer prohibited. Because remember, it says that this duration of this order, duration of the protective order is 2036. So this is the duration of the protective order. After that, it's no longer in duration, which means it's gone. So after 2036, it doesn't matter anymore. So I hope that answers your question there. KMW says, what would happen if a protected person kept moving? I don't know what you mean by that. The other person has to move to keep the distance. Do you mean like, can a protected person chase you around with one of these? No, they can't. That's actually, you're not allowed to abuse a system like that. I've had clients before where there's domestic violence cases and the guy's working at his job and the wife or the girlfriend comes over to it and, you know, called the cops and said, oh my God, he's here with me. And the guy was working at like AutoZone. And she called the police, said, well, he's here. I was here and he's here. And he wouldn't leave. And the cops walk in and they go, but he fucking works here. And they came out and said, we're not doing this. And I found out about it from my client, got the report, police report, and we went and filed a motion and we got the protection order removed because she's abusing it. You're not allowed to abuse it. It is a shield, not a sword. You can't chase people around with it. I tell my clients before because they've had to do this. You know, your crazy girlfriend's got a protection order out against you and you went out to go to the mall and she finds you and starts following you. And I, immediately leave. You get in your car and leave and drive off and you go somewhere else. And guess what? She shows up there. She shows up there. You call the police. Hey, police, this crazy lady's following me. And they'll bring up your information and they'll type it up when they come find you. Hey, you have a protection order against this lady. Yeah, I do. And they'll come up to her and say, why the fuck are you following her around? Why are you following him around? Because you know what I get to do? You don't sound scared anymore if you're following the person. And many a protection orders died that way. Many a protection orders died that way. But you have to be smart and you have to document it. I've seen it before where the crazy person shows up to your house and tries to, you can't do that. Like, that's not fair. That's not fair at all. So if that's what you're asking, that's not fair. But I don't know exactly what you're getting at, KMW. KMW says, what happens if the person is found? Oh, you mean if you win the hearing and they determine there's not enough evidence? It just kind of the court, will generally remember, like, if they come back the next week with a bullshit thing, it makes it harder and harder to win those. If you claim to be a victim and you lose them, it's hard to start winning them after that because the court will remember. The court remembers the ones it denies quite a bit. So I think it's what you're asking. Jefferson Post says, imagine 200 yards if you were in Rhode Island. Yeah, it's like halfway across the state. Luke says, how close do you need to get them to do your legitimate business? Well, I mean, like there's going to be times where it's just not practical, but yeah, I don't know. Michelle says they dated long enough to move in together, and that's when the assaults began. Yeah, bullshit. I mean, who knows? Who knows at this point? Who knows? Who knows at that point? Really, it's not clear. It's not clear. It's not clear. EDW, real quick, gotta get some super chats in your chat. Says, hey, look, some of these local PDs are wearing masks. Yes. JP5696, new member. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Spud Gun for £2 sterling. The King Sterling says total re-migration. Thank you. And guys, that's actually, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. We are done for here. We got caught up. Yeah, Tectone's having a bad day, man. That's rough. That is rough for him. Tectone got an L there. So. And it sounds like he's going to get in trouble for violating the order by running his fucking mouth, which it's easy enough not to do. Don't get in trouble, chat. Don't get in trouble. Eagle Eric says, unrelated question from your experience. What's the latest time a judge has showed up to one of your cases? Is a case impacted if a judge is considerably late? I mean, they're like, if it was for a trial, yeah. But no, like, do judges show up late? I mean, like, sometimes, kind of like, they're like everybody else. Like, shit happens. They got kids. They get stuck in the snow. They can get stuck in traffic. Generally not, though. Judges are very good about being on time. And usually they're there, like, first thing, they're there early in the morning before courthouse is open. I remember one time there was a judge. She had to go out for, like, she went out to go run errands at lunch, and she got stuck at the train tracks. When we had a hearing starting at 1, and she was like 45 minutes late because she couldn't get around it. And we just started 45 minutes late. I mean, like, we were already scheduled to be there all day, all afternoon, so it didn't really matter. Sometimes it creates a problem, and sometimes the court has to go, hey, by my own order, we're going to reschedule. And yeah, that can be frustrating for parties, but you know what? It happens to everyone. Sometimes things happen to you, but sometimes things happen to the court. Generally, the court rarely, but, you kind of have to live and let live. Because eventually you might need that. And you're going to be like, well, if you act like a faggot about it, how does that work out? So, but yeah, like if we were a trial and the judge was late, yeah, that could be a big fucking problem. But otherwise, yeah, it's, not a whole lot you can do about it. Not a whole lot you can do about it. It's not like you're going to be able to yell at the fucking judge. And most of the time, they're very apologetic because they're like, fuck it. They realize if they're late, that's just a big problem. Jim Cox has been a member for 23 months. Thank you, Jim. Says, well, bye, Hassan. Let's see here. I hate Yankees, says for $5. Don't forget the average IQ of Somalia. Yes, 68. And I will say Bronca is correct. The map never lies. It's always the same map. Maybe Ilhan genuinely didn't think to go to the hospital. Very possible. Very possible. And then Eric Silac says for $1.99, living in anticipation of the next career stream. We'll be doing that tomorrow, along with, like I said, some other stuff out there. And then Radcon Hazard says, you have people who think Guam will tip over and put too many troops on it. Yep, I got that. Joe Schmo again for 50 sobs. And then Meme Copium says, Medicare finds Christ and starts recovering. Styx worships Stolas and is dying. Really makes you think. Yes. It's almost like Christ is Kang. Yes. And Jefferson Post says, well, will that cop be in solitary and not general population? For his sake, he probably wants solitary, but he may get put in general pop. Like, oh well. Be fucking more careful next time of shooting ladies with fucking pots of water. Oops. Let's see here. And then this user is 404. Good to see you, man. He says, I'm like 30 minutes behind, but did you cover ICE at the Ecuadorian consulate? What? Hold on. ICE Ecuadorian. Oh. What happened here? Oh, shit. Whoa. I did not know about this. What happened? Okay, this is bad, chat. So Minneapolis, Ecuador has a consulate in Minneapolis. That's weird. Anyway, ICE tried to enter the Ecuadorian consulate. You can't do that. That's sovereign soil. That's like an embassy. That's Ecuadorian soil. Yeah, so there's an official complaint to the U.S. Embassy in Quito. But ICE agents fucking tried to go into the consulate?
This is the girl from Ecuador. No. Relax. Okay, relax. I did not enter. If you touch me, I will grab you. If you touch me, I will grab you. Okay. Okay. You can know that. Okay, well, don't touch me. Okay.
Oh, okay, well, this isn't that bad. Well, they're not trying to enter. If they open the door to like say, "Hey," I don't know, what were they doing?
This is a foreign government property. You can let me. I got cousins there, right?
Yeah. Okay, so like that wasn't as bad as they made it sound. All right, that wasn't that bad. Fuck them. Yeah, we're deporting the entire consulate. Yeah. Bring them all, chat. The entire nation of Ecuador. Yes, based. Poor man says that's how wars get started. Yes, that is how wars used to get started. That was never a good idea. So don't do it. Don't do it, chat. Why can't I hold on? Why is this? Uh-oh. Am I still? Hold on, chat. Can you guys see me? Oh, there we go. What the hell's going on? That's weird. Huh. Oh, what happened there? So the body cam is toast? Yes. Yes. I was black! Right when he starts talking about Ecuador, I've been deported, yeah. Defend your Iziat, Ecuador. Yes, it's tough. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't understand, guys. I'm sorry. That was weird. My apologies, chat. So they didn't enter and they didn't try to enter. Well, I don't know what that actually means, what they were doing. Were they open the door saying, hey, did some guy run in here looking like this? I don't know. We don't know. Those guys all spurged out, so who knows? Would stand your ground apply? No, it's just basic principles of international law that consulate is sovereign soil. So you have to have permission to enter it, and you could be ejected from it. So that is a normal thing. So Terabit says we might fuck up relations with Ecuador. Well, I mean that kind of matters. That kind of matters. Because guess what I don't want happening in South America? Them being friends with China. So yes, we should be respecting that. Like international law in some situations should be respected. The audio is fine, but one window was borked. Yeah, sorry. Yes, I got a flare at chat. Yes, when you accidentally press the deport button too hard and it doesn't specify. Yeah. Oh, the Brits are sucking up to the Chinese. Yeah, well, they want to spite Trump so hard they'll suck his dick. They'll suck Xi Jinping's dick to own Donald Trump. That'll show us. So, yeah, no, I hadn't seen that before, but that's not good. That's not a good look. But it wasn't as bad as they made it sound like. Anyway, yeah, guys, that is it for tonight. We are all caught up. We are gonna watch. We're gonna push through and catch up on the Brandon Banfield trial. We only have 2 hours left of it, and we're gonna knock that out because I want to get that done. And more importantly, Brandon Banfield's still testifying, and he is literally shitting the bed as he goes here. So we're not going to do locals tonight. I will make that up to you, chat. We'll do one over the weekend. But we're kind of like we're in the heat of it right now, and I want to finish it up. Like, I'm going to stay up late to watch it because it is totally worth it. I'm going to regret it tomorrow, but I need to see this. I really, really do. I need to see this. I think this is going to be so good. And let me see here. What time is it right now? 12:33. We'll start this in a couple of minutes. All right, hold on here, chat. Backing this up. But anyways, guys, thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. And hold on, I gotta set this up. So yeah, no locals tonight, chat. Like I said, I will make this up over the weekend. I really want to see this tonight instead. So let's see here. 5 locals and a 5K gift. Yeah. They call it, let's see here. Let's see here. J Rock says, "Cool, Jeremy D-Day." Oh yeah, I saw that on the casino where he BTFO'd the quartering. Yes. With that said, chat, we are all done. And remember, until next time, tomorrow night we'll be doing Russell Greer stuff. Just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. And whatever you do, don't blackboard out. If you need to get the whiteboard out to explain why what you're doing is okay, you're probably not going to make it, chat. You're probably not going to make it. So good night, chat, and I will see you guys later. Take care, everybody.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy?